I got myself a little fucking poncho ish. It's actually my little wool blanket, but wearing this bad boy to keep thyself warm. Instead of wearing so many fucking layers, because it kind of gets a little just annoying to have to put on so many layers. Anyway, if you're willing to sacrifice all love, yeah, you kind of got it. Yeah, there's literally like a thin layer of ice outside, like straight up. Like, I went to go grab some pizza because there wasn't really much to eat, and decided to give my dog a walk. Major regret because it's all icy out there, and it was pretty much dead as fuck. There was like barely anything outside going on. I was just like, damn, dude. Damn. Oh, fuck. And I did, unfortunately, kind of fall on my ass once on my way back. I was like, yeah, which honestly I'm surprised. I thought it would have fallen on my ass going to Sevy's or whatever. You know, because there's like this little like turn corner that is pretty gnarly when it comes to like the ice and shit. And I just had to kind of like crawl my way up, grab onto the big bolt that's attaching this whole gigantic pole, lift myself up, and like hold myself up, try to like find leverage on something, you know, to get on that last little bit of the hill, which is not that big, really. Just so I can, like, the little hump, just so I can walk on flat ground again. It was ridiculous. And then walking back on that, well, honestly, it wasn't really walking, I was sliding, and that was kind of interesting and fun. So, yeah, like, when the forecast said freezing rain, like ice rain, they fucking meant it. So, even what was the snow is now ice. Like, what normally would have been snow is now literally ice, too. There's no real safe spot to walk out there. So I just, like, took it slow and all that shit. Like I said, for, like, a combined total of 2.5 hours. And it's, today, and it was, like, 27 degrees then, 12 degrees now. It's about 22 degrees right now for me. And then after that, it should be kind of like a great thaw situation or something, hopefully. Ooh. Oh, fucking YouTube, really? Supposed to do that shit. Where'd that go? There we go. Yeah, just see what little things we kind of look at for a tube. What little fun things can we look at? The post-holiday depression didn't hit me as hard as it usually does. Normally I'm sulky for most of January, but February I'm over it. And by February you're over it. Yeah, honestly, I never really got too much, like, post-holiday depression. I don't really get it that much anyway, to be fair. But, I mean, sometimes I will. I guess I did a little bit just because, you know, like when I was, like, hanging out with my family, I had text for a little bit. Like, you know, I didn't really spend as much time as I would want to, you know, with them and shit, just because, like, you know, it's like 3 or 4 days, not really too much to do, you know, with everybody. At least, you know, just because it was, like, such a, you know, short amount of time. Not a lot, you know, of activities, you know, to kind of, you know, do. Look at the thumbnail for Kyle's reaction of Vivek dropping out. Right here, let me look up his channel. Okay, so on the top. What in the fuck? What is he wearing? Is he wearing like a neck gaiter or something? What? You won't put the song. I just want to find a way to look at the song. What is he wearing? He's got a hoodie on and like, like a neck warmer. He looks so serious. Why does he look so serious? I love Kyle's thumbnails. They're just, you know, they're just so random. You know, he doesn't bother really, like, you know, like when it comes to his, like, his phone or like laptop record and then immediately upload videos. Like with those videos, he don't go fuck about the thumbnail. He just lets it be whatever it is. And honestly, I'm glad for it because every now and then the thumbnail is legit pretty hilarious. And then he has his traditional thumbnail style where he does a quick edit with the green background, some green text with, you know, a picture or two. Which, very simple, you know. And I kind of like the simplicity. So people just go way too fucking hard with thumbnails. Unless it's like, you know, like a Dusty Smith stream or like a, you know, like an Onion Nuggets, like, cause they usually have like some crazy weird looking art that's kind of thematic to whatever, you know, the stream's gonna be about. So I could kind of make a pass for that. But like when it's like a video and you got like some person going like this and you got like 8 gajillion things everywhere, that's just, oh my god, I get so annoyed by those fucking, like, I just get so annoyed by those fucking thumbnails, dude. And all like, you know, the stereotypical like big YouTube channel names or whatever the fuck, like from Mr. Beast to whatever the, you know what I'm talking about. Like they're everywhere. It's like such a rote style of thumbnails. Like, can these motherfuckers like not be creative with these? It's like, damn. It makes me genuinely appreciate like even simplistic work of thumbnails. Because I feel like there's more effort, you know, in those, because, like, the thumbnails I talk about just seem almost like schizo-like. Where it's just like, you know, you got, like, the, you know, content creator doing, like, some weird soy jack face of, like this, or, like, pointing something like this. Like, just, like, weird fucking, like, and it's always, like, a, like, bug-eyed fucking, like, you know, big eyeballs of, like, oh shit, like, kind of look, almost. And, like, it's just... It's like, I mean, you know, because you get that, and then it's just literally just such random shit. Or it's, like, too simple, and it's, like, not enough shit really explaining anything. I mean, it's like, goddamn. I don't know why, but the bite around his neck is making me feel like it will roll off if it was removed. It's always the most mundane things. Yeah, and also when you look at the video itself, too, usually it's just really... not exciting. I mean, I suppose, like, Mr. Beast every now and then might throw a random fucking video like, I'm gonna have myself in a coffin for a week. You know, he's, you know, doing something like that, you know what I mean? Which, like, granted, is kind of crazy, but I just have a feeling that it's still set up and staged. Which I guess technically it is to an extent, but, like, honestly, even more so than we think. I mean, either way, it's just like, yeah, it really is just the most mundane shit. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna do like a little challenge, and like, you know, we have to find a way with like $5 to get from point A to B or some shit. Which actually, there was a YouTuber. I don't know what his name is. He's like even way more pompous and more of a prick than fucking Mr. Beast is. Like, and this dude literally like illegally like was like fucking like hopping trains in Japan and shit. Like, and like try to make like these two other content creators, which he never names. It's just two random other YouTubers, maybe or maybe not, that just decide to tag along with him and just straight up don't mention who they are at all or give credit to them whatsoever. Which, frankly, for their legal safety, probably a good idea for that. For anyway, honestly, but it's just like. I mean, the dude literally was like, all right, what I'm going to do is just hop on a train really quick and just hide in the bathroom the entire time. And then when, I hear that they walk away, after, they stop at a stop and get the police, I just sneak out and then just go on another train and hop on that one and do the same process. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, you're basically, openly saying that you're committing crimes, dude. I know Japan's got some problems, but can there, like, not be YouTubers and streamers, like, harassing Japan? Like, they already have enough problems as it is. Honestly, a part of why they're probably so xenophobic is because, at least in some part of these motherfuckers. So it's like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe, these people need to, like, fuck off from Japan and just have, like, a no-fly list in Japan or some shit. It's like, no. It's like, oh, you want to go to Japan? Are you a streamer? No. Oh, are you a prank YouTuber? No. Which, granted, they'll fuck me, I guess, because I'm a streamer. But, whatever. Sacrifices must be made. I still would like to go to Japan, though, maybe one day, but it's not really, like, on the priority list or anything. I'd rather go to, like, other places first. But if it's, the opportunity arises, I'm sure, yeah, fuck it. It'd be fun. Mr. Beast, what's up, BCs? Today's the most dangerous game challenge. I put $1 trillion hit on the first person who can put me down. What the fuck? Point straight home said America is a large place. Japan's not even half the size of Texas. Look, we'll run out eventually. Well, the video was already made and things like that. Like from what I understand, the Japanese government investigated it and stuff like that. And basically, from what I understand, are like, yeah, if he comes here again, we're arresting him and he's being deported back to wherever the fuck he came from. Like, they don't, like, I don't think he's in Japan anymore. He just went there for a few videos, and one of them was that. So, I mean, and what's even more stupid is that he actually did record times where he actually did get in trouble with the law. Like, he tried to, like, skimp on a bus, like, because he was, like, 500 yen short, and the bus driver's like, oh, no, hell no. Like, immediately basically called the police and shit, and was held for, like, 2 or 3 hours being, chatted up about, like, what the hell he's doing. And they eventually basically gave him enough bus fare to take the bus anyway, after the whole ordeal, which I guess is better than most cops, I guess. But nonetheless, it's like the dude, like, he also runs from the police at one point. I remember another part of the video where he literally, like, is pretending, like, after getting off of one of the trains, pretending that he's sick, laying down on, like, up against the wall near one of, like, the exit ways, because he could kind of, like, beeline it at that point, because he's kind of, like, you could tell that even in the video, he's kind of, like, looking that, like, this way while pretending to be sick. He's kind of doing this a little bit, because he's trying to, make a game plan about what route to take when he runs. And then when he looked over for a minute, realized that the officers talking to themselves or distracted, he just fucking got up and bolted. And got away for at least that moment of time, just to hop another train. So it's just like, oh, and by the way, he won the challenge too. It's like the other two didn't even get close to getting to the goal or whatever the fuck, while he just, like, basically broke every law in Japan when it comes to, like, transit doing it. From what I understand, the other two actually try to, like, get help from strangers and stuff like that, and we're like, oh yeah, I'm a little short on cash and blah blah blah. Like, actually, just like what normal people do if they're short on money and need to take a train. Like, just talk with them and, stuff like that, and maybe a stranger will help you out, which for the other YouTubers, that's pretty much just the main forte of what they did, and they either, got a ticket bought for them, or they were given money to, get a ticket, basically. So it's like, I mean, which shows that you didn't have to do literal crimes to achieve the goal. You could have just like, you know, be a sociable person and not be a sociopathic freak. You know, like, but I don't know, I guess not. Because that's just how some of these fuckers work. Like, since when was, like, doing pranks and, like, YouTube challenges, like, since when did that equate to doing crimes? It's like, you know, it's like, hey, I'm gonna do a prank where I, like, literally mug someone of, like, their $20. It's like, that's not a prank, you fuck. Like, what the fuck ever happened to just a good old harmless, honest prank? Those don't exist anymore. Makes me sad. Which commit crimes in a place you stick out like a sore thumb. I know, that's another thing too. It's Japan. Like, most people in Japan are not known for being like pasty white people. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, and this guy, he's not like a full-on white dude, like, but he's basically white passing, right? Like, he's basically a white guy. He acts like one for sure. So it's like, I mean, it's like, like, either way, like, unless you're, like, Japanese, like, you're gonna likely stick out like a fucking sore thumb. Like, I mean, honestly, because, like, it's a pretty homogenous country, so most people that live there are gonna be Japanese. So unless you already have lived there and they know you, like, you're sticking out like a sore fucking thumb. I mean, it's like, really, like, seriously? What if, like, it's just another element of just being a fucking dumbass, dude. Like, you know, where like, you know, these weird, like, where people think, you know, just doing these crimes or, you know, is like somehow like, you know, some fun little silly video. It's like, no, it's not. What's up, guys? It's Pranks for Life, and today we're going to be throwing someone in the trunk of my car, pushing it in a riverbank. And the key is somewhere in the trunk, and they have to find it where it's all dark as fuck and they can't see anything. Oh, wow, you're even worse. You're just making sure the safety lock's totally removed. I mean, like, you know, they have to, like, you know, find the key in the trunk, unlock the cuffs, and then, like, find a way to get out of the trunk, you know, while it slowly floods. But no, you're just gonna, you're going all the way with it. You're like, nah, we're just gonna kill him. Let's see what we can. You know what? Actually, I think I know what we could probably pop up. Saw it earlier. Where'd it go? Yeah, here it is. Cool. I know you were in the sloppy seconds in on your Nuggets earlier. I honestly cannot believe that TJ is just gonna do a 12-hour drive and just winter hellscape. Is there a reason why, like, TJ is doing that? I literally, like, before it ended, like, why? Just fly. Like, what are you doing? It's just a prank, bro. The prank. Oh. If it wants to pop up, there we go. It's just a prank, bro. The prank. Just getting fucking beaten up on. Dude, you know, what's that fucking, like, kid, like, that, like, British kid that, like, does those fucking, like, you know, pranks where he, like, does home invasions and, like, steals old ladies' puppies and shit? Like, this is basically what that kid would do. Which, frankly, I invite him to do those pranks in America because doing any of that shit would immediately get him blasted in the face by, like, all the calibers that America has to offer. From, like, 22 to 50 BMG, baby. Like, I mean, it's like, I don't think, you know, like, honestly, another one getting beat up is criminal. Oh, okay. That also makes sense because they're just so angelic. Oh, see, I'm an angel. I'm a little angel. It's just a prank, bro. My goodness, I love it. Awesome. But man, yeah, honestly, but at least in America, it wouldn't be like it would just be like that. Actually, has happened. Like too, there's like someone who's trying to like prank some like DoorDasher or some shit, and it was getting up in the DoorDasher's face and kind of and it was like freaking the dude out basically, and he got shot. Like, I mean, he straight up like got a bullet in the gut, and then that same prankster was like, "Oh well, I'm still gonna be doing pranks though." Lol. It's like you should have just like chilled the fuck out. Yeah, it's like, dude, you're lucky you didn't aim for your heart or your head, because I mean, he probably would have every right to. As far as I'm aware, like it was ruled as self-defense, which rightfully fucking so. Just fuck a motherfucker like that. But I did some digging and oh shit, yeah, you had Scotty Mart, but what about TJ Maxx, dude? Which, by the way, we have TJ Maxx out here. Yeah, I mean, for real. Wait, hold on, I want to pull up my... Here, I have that ready to go. Do you think that... So... TJ has his own store with TJ fucking Maxx. And Paul isn't innocent either. Paul Mart. Oh my god. Oh my god. We need this on the DFF subreddit immediately. We need... This actually looks like kind of star Paul would own. It's given sort of flea market vibe. This actually does look like a flea market. I wouldn't be surprised if it's kind of like a flea market or like a thrift store or something like that. And if you actually look at the front of the store, it's like Paul Mart. Whatever, it's like fucking, I don't know, like it's just, Madera's favorite little thrift store, grocery mart or some shit. Like it's a part thrift store, part grocery, farmer's market or something from the local farmers or something like that. So, I don't know, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily be, dude, that, it really does kind of give the vibe a little bit. And also, you want to vibe with oh god, it's a 24-minute video. You want to vibe with this? Because, I mean, if anything, I guess there's a little bit of a topical thing about this, so, I guess, maybe we could... I didn't get to all the onion nuggets. There was a little bit I kind of missed. I'm going to watch a little bit on that. But I want to get into this first, guys. You can see the building in the background. Oh, can you? Yeah, it has it almost looks like a house. So, honestly, maybe I'm right. I honestly might, maybe I'm right. Maybe it's like some sort of small little mom and pop ran small town store or something. That'd be cool. You big fluff. You look such like a little fluffy. You're so cute. You're so cute.
Progressives in the United States will ultimately rally behind Joe Biden in November, or
unless that's someone's house, they have to capture it. Yeah, I guess that could be the case too.
Seriously damaged his standing.
Look, I think we will see what happens in November because the choice is pretty clear. Running against Donald Trump, who I suspect will be the Republican candidate, is one of the most dangerous political...
Is it though, Bernie? I mean, considering that, most Americans are, frankly, stupid and don't realize, the true damage and ramification that he could potentially have. I mean, do you really think, honestly, most Americans are really giving a fuck? I mean, because they're not, going to be as privy about that type of shit. And they're not going to be, privy about the nuances of the situation. And frankly, I don't expect them to be honest. I mean, so that's why in a lot of ways it's up to the politician or the president in this case to actually, give results to where those same voters would give a fuck. And not just sit on your laurels and just expect them to, bow down like a little obedient dog.
It's in modern American history. So I think people will end up rallying around Biden. But there is no question. It is very hard.
Well, I would imagine your calculus is really wrong. Man, Bernie, are we really doing this right now? Dude, like, oh, I figured out a lot of people would round Joe Biden. It's like, nah, bro. Like, I mean, I'm sorry. As it stands now, I don't see how Biden wins the election. I just don't. Like, I mean, I don't want Trump either. Like, I mean, make no bones about that fucking shit. But, like, I mean, I'm just looking at the utilitarian calculus, my guy. And from what it looks like, Trump's going to win. And, like, unless, like, Biden were to change shit, like, fucking now, then he's fucked. He's just, it's Jover. It's Jover.
People, I think for most Americans.
And honestly, I would just, say it's like, I mean, I think the more that I think people kind of just, like, accept that part of the reality and realize that, Biden likely ain't going to be making this fucking election, then, and prepare for, like, kind of the worst, so to speak. I mean, hope for the best, and do what you can at that front, but expect what the reality is really going to be like, which is really preparing for the worst. Because that's, at least in some part, what I'm doing, because, I mean, what the fuck else can you really do besides just, like, try to point people in the right direction when it comes to, like, unifying people with, like, labor and stuff like, like that at this point, because it's really, like, one of the main things actually is worth the fuck at this rate. So it's basically that, and, just, like, trying to, like, minimize, the threat of fascism. But, I mean, at this rate, I mean, it's like, if you really want to do that, you have to kind of do the first point. The first, priority tends to, like, nullify the second. Because the more people, the more people have, like, money in their pocket and better well-being and, just a better general, like, socioeconomic conditions for themselves, the less likely they're probably going to be some crazy fascist freak.
To be excited about what is going on right now. President has got to change course. He has been very clear. He has expressed his concern about, quote unquote, indiscriminate bombing. He has asked Netanyahu over and over again to change course. Netanyahu just yesterday said, no, we're going to continue doing what we are doing. Unacceptable. You cannot give billions of dollars to a country that ignores your wishes, violates international law. So I would hope that the president follows through on his concerns and says to Netanyahu, this is unacceptable. You're not getting a nickel more from the United States unless you radically change course.
How come you were supportive of it initially? Certainly you're changing your tune, Bernie. Like, I mean, granted, it's probably because, like, just due to the fucking reality and the cost of what's going on. But it's like, I mean, this just seems kind of a little bit more, unfortunately, like, just something that's been motivated by politics now at this point. Because he recognizes for sure that, this is what's tanking Biden. This is what's fucking him. And, there ain't no bones about it, and you can't beat around the bush on that front. So, it's like, it's one of those things where it's just like, frankly, Bernie, my dude, it's like a little too late. Like, and especially when you were actually all right with Israel in the first place when this shit first broke off, and then like a couple weeks later he started, switching your opinion, and then fucking went full like now calling for, well, stop giving them money. Still haven't really overtly said anything about ceasefire, but you're like, well, quit giving them money as long as they continue to violate war crimes and this and that. So you're still not even 100%, like advocating for a fucking ceasefire here, Bernie. So this is kind of like empty word shit here, bud. Storm wasn't as bad as expected. I walked in there for a little bit to grab some pizza, and Jesus Christ, so what do you mean? Yeah, it is pretty ridiculous. Like, I don't know about you. The roads, actually, weirdly enough, around here were better because, like, because of the cars driving over some of the roads and shit. That's, like, the only one of the few places I could actually walk. So, like, everywhere else, I'm slick sliding everywhere. I also decided to kind of go, like, kind of cape poncho mode with this, and this actually kind of worked really nice. It also cushioned my fall a little bit when I slipped and fell. The hill looks treacherous. It probably does. I want to be going out in that.
I'm going to see hundreds and hundreds of thousands of children starve to death.
Look, I have my disagreements with Bernie Sanders when it comes to Israel. He somehow still is not calling for a ceasefire, which is so disappointing to me because he actually recognizes the severity of the humanitarian crisis.
At this point, it's going to take a hell of a lot more than hope. Yeah, I mean, frankly, I agree with that. The amount of saying that is, we're advocating for the least they can do. That, and that's appalling to me. Why is it only like the progressive leftist electorate that's actually doing shit, who's advocating also for a third way and also doing direct action like these protests and stuff that we've been seeing? Which also, weirdly enough, there's like a Vosh video. Actually, I want to look at it because I haven't seen it. Maybe after this, but like, because there's like a Vosh video of him justifying, protests disrupting traffic and shit like that in like Seattle or whatever. And like in Portland too, I imagine. I mean, because these protests have been like all over the place. But but from what I understand, he was like thinking that's okay, my dude. But like when it comes to like geopolitical elements and like powers and stuff, like the Houthis reacting, and shit, and by disrupting trade, which protesting and blocking roads would do that too on a city level, right? So it's like, I mean, there's like both do disruption and trade to a certain extent. Both disrupt commerce. Both are, sending a message of ceasefire now, stop the fucking genocide, and say what you want about the Houthis and shit. But at least when it comes to this specific issue, that's what their main premise is about. There's still, extremists, Islamic, jihadis and stuff. Yeah, I don't like them. But, I mean, when it comes to the very specific shit they're doing right now, there's kind of a point to it. I mean, because especially, they're not really exactly cut out for doing pirate shit right now. Especially considering that, they were recently just having a war with Saudi Arabia, with Saudi Arabia getting, funding and weapons with our dollars and shit anyway. So they were getting fucked with by our equipment. But, so if anything, the one thing they certainly got going for them is they understand our equipment, they understand our weapons and shit, so they know how to work around it. So it's, I mean, like they're definitely a lot more capable than other groups out there for sure, but, they're just using whatever abilities they got to send a fucking message about stopping a fucking ceasefire. And instead of like, I don't know, forcing Israel to stop it, we decided to bomb the fuck out of Yemen, because why not? Let's help Saudi Arabia after they got bitch smacked by them. And now they decide to stop doing the whole fucking war. Now we'll step in and do it ourselves. We'll give it some time, man. We'll use the whole thing they're doing now as justification. Which Vosh unironically defends and thinks is completely separate from the genocide going on in Palestine, which it isn't. I'd be curious what he thinks about Hezbollah too. It's really helped send an amount of aid that was for Israel to Palestine, and if Israel gets up and makes sure they understand who's really in charge. Honestly, if I had it my way, I would send like 2 U.S. carrier task force to literally have like a fucking U.S. Navy Air Force fucking dome over Israel. Like any Israeli aircraft that get, Israeli fighter that, decides to, take off and try to do a bomb run, guess what? You're getting shot the fuck down. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. And they want to bitch about it, then we'll just bomb their air base. And they want to bitch about that, then we'll just bomb the Iron Dome because we know how to fucking bypass that shit. That's our fucking shit. You don't think we know how to fucking, go around that? You don't think we got tech to fucking knock our own shit out? Because we know what the weaknesses of that would be. We're America, motherfucker. So it's like, I would be a fucking, rare time where I think, American intervention would actually work if we actually stepped in to intervene, in the favor of stopping the genocide. Not going to ceasefire? Well, guess what? Now you got to, do ceasefire now, because guess what? Now we have American troops in Gaza. And they're going to be there, for when you march right the fuck in to keep you the fuck out. What are you going to do about it now? And while we're there, do straight up, all that, all the money and investment that would go normally to Israel, goes directly into humanitarian efforts and rebuilding efforts. Get some Army Corps of Engineer battalions out there, to, help rebuild some of the infrastructure and shit, right? So, I mean, that would be legit American intervention I would totally be in support of. I'm not even kidding. But unfortunately, we're not even remotely close to that reality, and it really is annoying. Because I think the only time we've ever really acted like that was probably in World War II. I mean, and even then, that's kind of iffy.
created in Gaza specifically because of Israel's war crimes. So it's mind-boggling to me that he can't say the word ceasefire. But despite that, he still is using his power in meaningful ways, and I think that he deserves credit for that. For example, he's forcing a vote on a resolution that will force the State Department to report on Israel's human rights abuses, and if they fail to comply and don't release said report within 30 days, then aid to Israel is automatically cut off. Now, that's not going to pass, but I think that the effort...
And that's not going to do anything. Like, I mean, this is some, here's something that he's doing is good. Like, okay, what? So they have to report the fact they're being genocidal freaks. Big fuck whoop. Do you really think they care about their fucking image at this point? They don't. They don't. They're just going to, cry victim and be a crybaby about it, and then call you an anti-Semite, and, be the manipulative fucking piece of shit that they fucking are. Because this is like what, Zionists, what Zionism really is about and shit in a lot of ways. It is a very manipulative fucking crybaby, woe is me, the fucking victim, while literally doing the most heinous fucking shit imaginable, to the average, fellow man because, we deem these people to God-chosen people and shit. It's, a fucking disgusting, horrible, toxic, manipulative and cry-bully ideology that, it's really not very different from Christianity. I mean, honestly, in a lot of ways, they go hand in hand. Most Zionists in America are Christians. So, I mean, it's like, it really, they go hand in hand in a lot of ways.
Nonetheless, Bernie's overall position on Israel, to me, just seems completely incoherent because he's only calling for a humanitarian pause, which makes no sense because the humanitarian disaster that he's describing continues to unfold after there already was a humanitarian pause. So another one isn't going to make a difference. If you genuinely want the violence to stop permanently, you would call for a ceasefire, and he hasn't done that. But two things can be true at once. He's bold enough to...
These people go around with a persecution complex up their asses. They do, and it's just fucking disgusting. It's honestly, what makes it even more offensively disgusting is how they use the Holocaust as like a part of their justification. Being like, oh, well, because the Jewish people were victims once, because we're totally the same, then, that gives us the justification to do this, to other people. Fuck you, you're anti-Semite if you question it. It's like half you motherfuckers are basically born and raised Americans, bitch, or Europeans, at this point. It's like, it's just like whatever weird little, quarter, Jewish background you got doesn't really make you so at this point as far as I give a shit considering the fucking behavior. I mean, especially considering, like I've said before, we'll keep saying so. It's like the Jewish diaspora, Jewish people broadly all over the fucking world don't like what's going on. I mean, especially like American Jews and shit, for example. Like, I mean, no one does. It's only like Zionists and a large swath of the Israeli population specifically that are very gung-ho about this. Like, no one else is. Everyone else is not really keen on it. There's real, Holocaust scholars and survivors that detest, the genocide going on. I mean, it's like, it's just something, the waters just can't get muddied with anymore. The purifier's, too strong. So Palestinians be justified using the same argument. What? You call me anti-Semite? I mean, that's pretty much in part what they would do. What's this? Might cut some of it off, though. Something War's a Racket. Remember what you were fighting for. True. What about this? Classic, terrible. Yeesh. What's going on here? What's happening here? Okay. Oranges. Melons. Bananas. Lame. At least the first one was kind of true. That one's just lame. Sexism funny, lol.
attempt to cut off aid to Israel. That matters, but he's not bold enough to address the root cause of the humanitarian crisis that he's against. But when it comes to what he says about Biden, he is absolutely right, even if he's using kid gloves to handle the situation. Biden is continuing to express concerns about Israel, but he's not making
something the internet for a day. We ain't getting started yet.
Actual demands. He's not doing what he needs to do to stop the genocide. And in the absence of actual demands and threats to cut off aid...
Do you like guacamole? Honestly, not really. Not the biggest fan of it.
Is going to change. But don't take my word for it. Let's actually listen to what a Likud party member of the Knesset said on Israeli television. Now, this clip is from December 8th, and it recently gained traction, so it's a little bit old, but it's still true as of today.
I wouldn't be surprised if I've seen this clip. I have not seen this clip. I guess, this might... All right.
לא תמיד מסכימים על הכל. היו מחלוקות מההתחלה דרך אגב. הם לא הסכימו לתיאום קרקעי, נכנסנו קרקעית.
They didn't agree to a ground invasion. We invaded. They didn't agree to the Al-Shifa hospital. We ignored the request. They wanted to pause without hostages. We didn't accept that. What was reported in the beginning of the program. And I'm glad it was corrected. We have no American ultimatum. We have no American ultimatum. Like, this is why there needs to be, like, honestly, unironically, like a fucking iron boot, on the ground. Like, get, like, instead of, like, bombing the fuck out of Yemen, why don't we have, like, an American task force just doing, like, a no-fly zone over Israel? Like, no IDF aircraft, fucking having, like, like, helicopters literally on standby, ready to put troops on the ground if, Israel takes another fucking step forward in Palestine. And they have like 24 hours to step the fuck out. And if not, those boots going down on the ground anyway. And have fucking Abrams and Bradleys fucking roll down and take out any fucking Israeli tank that happens to stick around. Because, like, I mean, if they want to see what the fucking real American ultimatum looks like, then give them Operation Palestinian Freedom, bitch. See how they think about that. And then send the Army Corps of Engineers to start, cleaning shit up, repairing stuff. Fixing up the buildings and roads and giving humanitarian aid. See, if America actually wanted to be like the world police, they would do shit like that actually would be like, at least unironically, potentially have positive outcomes. Because if, Zionists and Israelis want to fucking freak out and go like, full on scorched earth about it, then let them. Let them be their own fucking demise at that point. Like, because the only ones doing that to, them is themselves at that rate. Like, because the only way they can, if they don't want that shit to continue, then they can stop. Pull everything out, knock that fucking shit off, and then, start doing that fucking humanitarian effort like, we'd be doing in this hypothetical, and then we'll bug the fuck off. But no, we don't, take the iron fucking boot position. We give them, a fucking blowjob and fondle their balls while we give them, while instead of, like us being the prostitute, and them giving us money, we're the ones who like fucking gives them the money. Like we're literally selling ourselves and then giving them, the money back. It's just like, what? It's like, how's this fucking relationship work out?
דדליין של ארצות הברית, אנחנו עובדים, צריכים להמשיך להכות בחמאס, וגם אם זה יבוא למקום של עימות עם ארצות הברית, צריך להמשיך עד הסוף.
Even if we'll get in a conflict the U.S. load, we'll have to keep the offensive until the end.
Quote, we have no American ultimatum. There is no deadline from the U.S. Therein lies the
problem. So the Tories back at again, try to model after American bullshit.
Problem. We've all been
Hamas. But do you condemn Hamas? Wait. Disabled people must work from home to do their duty. The disability is their employer. Disabled people, UK government. Bruh. Oh my god. Oh man. UK, you're not supposed to learn from us that hardcore.
Dang it. Israel is admitting it now. They're not facing pressure from Biden, therefore, these disagreements don't really amount to much. Now, I've shared this article before. But this particular paragraph is worth repeating. So in an op-ed for The Nation, Trita Parsi explains, in 1982, President Ronald Reagan was disgusted by Israeli bombardment of Lebanon. He stopped the transfer of cluster munitions to Israel and told Israeli Prime Minister Menachem Begin in a phone call that this is a Holocaust. Reagan demanded that Israel withdraw its troops from Lebanon. Begin caved. 20 minutes after their phone call, Begin ordered a halt on attacks.
That was fucking Reagan. Dude, the one thing that Ronald Reagan was based on. The one fucking thing, you know, like, every demon's got, you know, their one little charm, alright? You know, and Reagan's got this. Like, I'll grant him that. He's a piece of shit with literally everything else. But with this one, like, this is what, like, you know, having balls and putting the iron fucking boots, you know, on Israel looks like. And the thing is, all it took was a phone call. Why do you think I say Biden could just make a phone call and stop this shit? Because that's what Reagan did. It's like, I mean, what's like, and, you know, if this old Alzheimer's addled fuck was able to do it, the dementia Jover Biden Joe is gonna, you know, can easily do it too. It's like, I mean, what the fuck? 20 minutes after that phone call was made. So basically, immediately after that phone call, he made another phone call immediately to the, you know, military higher-ups to make sure that order was, you know, given down to the rest of the chain of command to order that halt. And not even half an hour later, fucking done.
So the Reagan administration made a demand and they cut off weapons to Israel. And guess what?
And the divorce thing. Yeah, that too, I guess. He may be a brutal cannibal serial killer, but at least he donates to sick kids with cancer. Yeah, exactly!
They were forced to acquiesce. So the question is, why won't Biden do the same? He's not powerless. So he's making a choice. The Biden administration's decision to allow this to continue is
my dude, my guy, do you not consider the fact, Hamas bad? And also, my dude, my guy, do you not trust the State Department to be working behind the scenes quietly to ensure there be a humanitarian policy, my guy? Because unfortunately, my dude, the calculus shows that we cannot get a ceasefire, my guy.
Choice. He is choosing to be a willing participant in the ethnic cleansing and genocide of the people of Gaza. And that choice may cost him the election. Because as Bernie Sanders...
May cost him the election. See, I know it's still speculative, but as it stands now, I just see the reality in that fucking light in the end tunnel, and the tunnel ain't, like, you know, a good light. It's like, you know, a forest fire light, you know. The train is going in the middle of a literal forest fire on the other side of the mountain, and the train's probably going to literally be a hell train just burning, and we're all burning in it, so that's going to be great. But, you know, it's like, I figured, you know, I want to kind of get some fireproof shit, get myself ready for that, you know, in the emergency compartment or something, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm kind of, you know, just, you know, preparing, you know, like thinking, all right, things ain't gonna be Gucci, so might as well at least prepare for that, because as it stands now, there ain't no fucking way the Luther Wavel's harm reduction is, you know, doing a lick of a dick.
Correctly put it, young voters aren't excited to rally.
Not that it ever really did in the first place, to be honest. Because, you know, Lesser Two Evils got us here, you know, since 2015, dude. Like, with, you know, the whole, you know, Pokemon Go to the polls, Lesser Two Evils, when it came to fucking Hillary Clinton, you know, didn't work out then, you know, and, you know, we tried to do that with fucking Biden, and look where the fuck we are now, and guess what? The same fucking argument ain't gonna work, so it's gonna be like the same fucking pattern with Hillary. Where, you know, it's like, it's gonna be the same fucking bullshit, you know, and spewed in a slightly different rhetoric, you know, just like back in 2015-16, you know, where it's like, Pokemon go to the polls. It's like, all right, Jack, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. This is fit. You know, it's like that instead. I mean, it's just like, I mean, fuck. Like, I mean, it's, unless, like, he were straight up to just, like, you know, for 3 months straight, just, like, executive order out of just, like, fucking crazy, insane shit. It's like, I'm, you know, and stuff that actually would be worth a fuck, especially to young voters, like, he's done. He's cooked. The only devil's advocate-ish thing I could say is, like, I'm just really bad choice, like, cognitively thinking. Sometimes you consider mentally is probably about 60%. Yeah, that too. Woo! house literally falling apart. Yeah. It's like the "this is fine" meme.
Responsible for the deaths of 24,000 civilians, including 10,000 children. And the polls currently reflect that. The Hill reports in an ABC News Ipsos poll conducted January 4th through 8th.
Genocide Joe's got to go. That means they want Trump. These are nothing but Trump supporters. Look at these anti-Semitic Nazis. Trump donates to himself. I hear it's a very good cause, a very tremendous cause. It's a beautiful cause.
3% of those surveyed said they approved of Biden, a drop from the previous poll in September of 2023, when 37% approved of his performance. Biden's disapproval rating is 58%, up from 56% in September. ABC News said it's the lowest approval rating since former President George W. Bush from 2006 to 2008. Biden, who is running for re-election, has a lower approval rating than former President Trump, who is leading the GOP nominee for president. Disastrous. And this is one of many polls indicating Biden is losing support. In other words, there's an iceberg dead ahead, and the Biden administration is sailing right into it at full speed, not even trying to steer away from it. And this is...
Well, hey, Jack, I mean, sometimes you gotta reenact the Titanic. Did you really, truly figure out what went wrong?
Happening because the Democrats...
And then you can figure it out afterwards when we do the other one, and then we'll forget about it, and, just read cycle, Jack.
Who voted for Biden in 2020 have suddenly become red-pilled, and they're all Trump supporters. It is because they are disillusioned with Biden, and they plan to forego voting altogether, which is a huge problem, in particular when it comes to young people. Teen Vogue's Fortessa Latifi explains, after a record-breaking youth turnout in 2020 helped decide the election for President Joe Biden, a recent poll released by Harvard Kennedy School shows that young Americans seem less likely to vote in 2024 than they were in 2020.
I wonder why that could be. It's definitely not, the sense of want like a different option and, and not repeat the same fucking status quo bullshit duopoly cycle over and over and over again. Two-party state, one-party masquerade, one-party state, two-party masquerade bullshit.
To the poll at this point in the 2020 election cycle, 57% of Americans between ages 18 and 29 were planning to vote. That number has since declined to 49%, though Gen Z voters prefer President Biden over his likely challenger, former President Donald Trump. Only 35% of this demographic approves of Biden's performance as president. Now, let's just pause right there and address the implications of this if it's not already obvious to everyone. If this stands, if these numbers don't change, and we
probably that 35% is basically Vosh fans,
actually see an 8% decrease in youth turnout and not an increase from 2020, Biden loses this election. I'll repeat that. Biden loses, and Donald Trump, with Project 2025 in mind, and with him promising to be a dictator, but only for a day, will win this election. Democracy as we know it will be over.
I mean, I don't really buy the massive hyperbole of democracy just literally gone. But, yeah, I mean, it certainly is going to be a jeopardy. I mean, I ain't going to, dog about that. And he'll go down as president who only won because of a global pandemic. And pretty much. It's a Vosh dirty millennial. He's a Beverly Hills bougie little, fucking rich boy. Like, his dad works in Hollywood and shit. Like, yeah. And also, he lives in Washington's Beverly Hills, Bellevue. So, I mean, and he's even openly stated as such, it's like, I got money. When shit hits the fan, I'm out. I'm rich. I can leave. So if shit hit the fan, he just dips. He has the money to just, go to fucking, Europe or some shit, or wherever the fuck. While me, I'm fucked. I ain't rich. I ain't got, just someone to just leave. So it's it just really shows, really, how committed he really is to a lot of these things. And honestly, it just, shows that he doesn't really truly know the fucking reality of things, honestly. To sound like much of a leftist. Honestly, dude, he really isn't. He's just kind of like a fucking liberal, to be frank. He's kind of a rad lib. I mean, granted, he's, more agreeable of a rad lib than not, but the thing is, what he advocates for is basically literally just, beginner's leftism 101 shit. You know what I mean? It's just, beginner 101 shit. And because he has a sociology degree, he thinks he's like holier than thou, and it's like, you know, like a condescending, smug dude. It's just like, bro, it's like either the dude needs to get fucking humbled, like, you know, because I don't inherently think he's like an inherently bad dude, but fuck, like, he needs to get humbled, bro. Like, I mean, that's why I honestly was wanting to try to talk to him and be like, yo, there are people like me out there who are, you know, like, let's convene shit. You know, not like, you know, some sort of like LARP or whatever that actually has done the work, been out there, talked with people, know, you know, people of various different political backgrounds, especially as workers and shit. And like, there's a message that can be won, you know, as a leftist to other people. But it's like, honestly, a lot of the shit that we're doing, especially when it comes to this terminally online bullshit, like, it means fuck all. You think you think the average person is giving a fuck about any of that? No, of course not. Most people barely, like, pay attention to, like, you know, what's woke or not, you know, usually. Like, I mean, you know, so that shit barely means fuck all, frankly, to the average person. It's not like they're unaware of it, but they don't give nowhere near as much of a fuck than you think. I mean, it's just like, you know, there's a way to, like, you know, approach and talk to these fucking people. And sure, you know, you're gonna gamble every now and then to find out one of them's a fucking psycho or something with their politics, you know, but, you know, most of the time, probably not. You know, and I've definitely met some quirky fucking people with their politics, for sure. You know, and I'm just like, okay, not talking politics about you, buddy. You know, but I've met plenty that even if I disagree with them, I can at least, you know, see where the fuck they come from with that shit and aren't, you know, doing so because of, like, some loyal dog politician that they want to follow or whatever the fuck. It's because of, you know, they actually have a brain and, you know, maybe have incorrectly come to certain, you know, outcomes, you know, with their positions, you know, at least in my opinion. You know, they at least, you know, show that they have thought about what the hell they talk about and are willing to talk with other people about shit like that and, you know, have came to those conclusions on their own, or at least, you know, for the most part. So it's not like it's impossible, and having a smug ass attitude and shit certainly don't fucking help, especially when you're not even that much of a lefty, dude. You know, it's like, fuck. That's why, like, Vosh can annoy the fuck out of me sometimes. I mean, I don't necessarily dislike him, but I mean, it's why I watch him still sometimes, because honestly, it's easy to react to some content every now and then that he just happens to be checking out. So, yeah, I just kind of use him for fodder mostly. Probably a better example, you having to wait for the ER because you're uninsured. Well, that's kind of why I mentioned the food bake thing. Don't get me wrong, processing more far more problem. I don't think fun experience of waiting hours for subpar canned food because your food stamps didn't get far enough for a month. Or, yeah, having to sit in the ER because you're uninsured. Yeah, that too. And also, like, you know, having to struggle paycheck to paycheck because he doesn't. In fact, I mean, other people kind of, like, you know, bunk up with him and probably give him the rent that he pays to the landlord or some shit. Like, I know another streamer and a YouTuber who at least is legit more of a lefty, not like a hardcore lefty, but at least a lefty, Conyer. Like, at least they, like, you know, with them, you know, whatever. But they live with Vosh, and I think there's like one other person that lives with them. You know, and, you know, it's like, and they pay rent to him. Vosh's landlord. No, he's not a landlord. They all rent an apartment together. Like, these three, I'm pretty sure it's 3 people living there. Like, I think it's like Vosh, his girlfriend, and then Conyer. And then their cats. And, you know, they're renting out like a pretty decent bougie apartment in Bellevue. So he's not a landlord. He's, you know, I mean, he still has to pay rent and shit. But he's also in Bellevue where, you know, as long as, you know, he's good about paying, you know, shit, you know, I'm sure, you know, it's all nice and fine and dandy. I'm pretty sure the landlord isn't that big of a parasite because, you know, because, like, hey, I'm a rich person. I'm renting out the rich people out and stuff. It's all national club here. I have a little young croaky fellow out here, but none of this. He pays his dues. Let's see on his channel. Oh, landlord's really that bad and anything other than ironic and so. Oh my god, you know what? Dude. You're right. Honestly, if, like, look, you know, he's got some hot takes. I honestly think he's got some very fucking spicy takes about music and shit like that. Like, honestly, the motherfucker's got some really spicy takes that have made me honestly consider that before. But I'm not even kidding. If I see that, yeah, no, I would be done. I would, no. I swear to God, dude. If I ever see that, or you ever see it and you send it to me, yeah, it's Jover, dude. It's Jover on that one. Like, I swear to God, I swear, it's like, I mean, I know his editors like to fucking clickbait shit sometimes, and I have a real strong feeling that, you know, there's going to be some clickbait with that one. Watch it and, like, be just a clickbait title, and he's actually still saying, like, yeah, landlords are bad.
So this cannot stand.
It'd be like the Deadites took over my hands.
You can try to blame young people. You can say it's irrational for them to hand the election to Trump. But ultimately, many of them are going to stay home. So Biden is the one who has to make the change. The onus is on him. And it's not like he doesn't have enough time to change course. Teen Vogue actually spoke to young voters, and I think that these anecdotes are really important, but they're not representative of all of Gen Z and millennials, but here's what they're saying nonetheless. Elias, who is a Palestinian American, has a laundry list of issues with the current administration that have pushed him to this point of not voting, including sales of new oil and gas leases and Biden's support of Israel. For Elias, the deciding moment came when Biden cast doubt on the Gaza Health Ministry's reported death tolls. Quote, "I found that to be truly monstrous," he says. "It's something I cannot co-sign with my name and my vote." Lillian, a college student in New York, is undecided.
Well, maybe, you just need to find the utilitarian calculus. My guy is actually better with Joe Biden, even though it literally would not be any different whatsoever if it was with Trump as well. So, it's like, get over it, my guy. Quit being, such a Trump supporter, my dude.
About voting this year. She's been disappointed by the Democrats on so many issues, including Biden's promise to forgive $10,000 of student loans, which was ultimately struck down by the Supreme Court. The party's neglecting to further efforts to codify abortion and the president's support of Israel. London 24 doesn't...
Seems like there's a reoccurring pattern. I wonder what that is. It's not just a Gaza-Israel thing either. Like, it's also, like, the fact that he's weak as fuck, and whenever, like, pieces of shit motherfuckers, like the Roe v. Wade thing, or just, like, not, enforcing the student loan debt release and shit, all these things, like, it seems like there is a reoccurring pattern with that. I wonder what that could fucking be.
Want to hear a guilt trip for not planning to vote in the 2024 presidential election. It won't work, she says, and stop telling her that Biden is the lesser of two evils because she's tired of that argument. Every 4 years, we're told to choose the lesser of two evils and things will get better, she says, and it just doesn't get better. Leah voted for Biden in 2020, but is considering withholding her...
Shocker. Somebody that understands the duopoly system is bullshit. And continuing it is probably a detriment to all of us. That's another pattern I've noticed. I've noticed that it's not like these young people don't necessarily want to vote. They just don't want to vote for Genocide Joe. Or Trump, because they know that, he's pretty much going to be the same, if not, especially on various other issues, worse, for sure. So, they're just not going to vote at all. So... like, if there was maybe alternative options, maybe they'd be more likely to vote. Oh, wow, wouldn't that be a fucking just detriment to democracy?
Vote in 2024 because of what she sees as the disappointing outcomes of his presidency.
You know what, honestly, I'm going to make a kind of a little soft prediction. How much you want to bet during the primary? We're going to see a little bit more, like, at least, the states that do have, Democratic primaries still open. Because at least in Oregon, we still have our primaries. I honestly am not going to lie. Like, how much you want to bet, at least, for those states, like, there's actually going to be some contestive primaries a little bit. At least of some of them. I mean, I'm being a little serious, honestly. Like, because I think it's still probably going to be Joe Biden as a nominee. I'm still pretty set with that. But... how much do I want to bet? Like, some of these states might honestly be a little contestive. Maybe still go to Biden, but, maybe some counties in these states maybe go to Marianne or something. Because it would be a little interesting to see that, because it would make sense, especially considering that they're trying to shut primaries down in some states. Like, because if they're doing that, then they probably understand that, like, there's probably some contestiveness, especially considering his approval rating. And a lot of those people are likely going to check out some of the other candidates, which Marianne or, Cenk, I guess not as much. But what's the other dude? There's like some other weird fucking dork. Like Phillips or something? I don't even know. Who fucking cares? Like, he's literally a nobody. Like, but, I mean, if anything, just considering that, I don't think he'd get anywhere. I mean, honestly, I feel like it'd be between Biden and Marianne if, like, you know, if it would be contestive. And maybe some of these counties and some of these states might, you know, legit be a little contestive and go to Marianne potentially. Not all of them. I think, you know, honestly, like I said, you know, most of these states, if not all of the states, you know, are going to go to Biden. But I still wouldn't necessarily be too surprised if, like, at least a couple counties go to Marianne. I mean, I'm sure shit going to vote for her in the primary. I mean, I know it ain't going to do anything. I mean, unfortunately, but whatever. Like, you know, it's like, I ain't the one trying to thwart democracy here by shutting primaries down and having, like, it just conditioned that closed primaries are okay and all this other bullshit. It ain't my fucking fault.
I agree with Biden about funding Israel's war on Hamas, and she's saddled by student loans the president said he would forgive. Quote, it felt like kind of a con, she says, about then candidate Biden's proposal to forgive $10,000 of student loan debt per borrower. I don't want to vote for Biden. I want a better option. Now, for the record, I hope that young people don't stay home. I hope they actually do exercise their right to vote, because I think that voting is important, and I don't agree that there's no difference between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. I do think that there are discernible and important differences between Democrats and Republicans. And really, my thoughts on voting in general was perfectly articulated in this video by Olamide. I'll link to that down below. But you don't have to agree with their reasoning, but you can't pretend as if their votes don't matter. They do matter.
And I agree with the reasoning. And I mean, like, I kind of don't 100% agree with Mike on, like, there are strong discernible differences between the two parties. I mean, there are differences. I just don't think they're just as big and strong as, you know, he kind of thinks they are. Like, because honestly, like, I mean, they really aren't. Like, I mean, outside of, like, you know, local / like state level, you know, Democrats or politicians and shit, I mean, they really aren't, honestly. Like, I mean, you know, like, because, like, I mean, the only time I ever see Democrats have a backbone when it comes to, like, you know, fighting against, like, these anti-trans bills or book bans and shit like that are Democrats on state levels. You know, not fucking national level shit. All the ones on the national level are spineless fucking, like, fucking pussies. Like, so, you know, like, when it comes to, like, anything that the Republicans do, you know, a lot of the national level Democrats just, you know, sit there, you know, bending over backwards to just be like, well, that's wrong and wrong, but never actually do anything for it, you know, to stop it. So, I mean, at that point, what really is the fucking difference if they just, you know, lay down like a fucking puppy and just, like, you know, just, like, get rolled over? I mean, it's just like, I mean, so at that point, what really is the fucking difference if they just sit there and let it happen?
And vote shaming them isn't going to be an effective strategy. Otherwise, it would have worked in 2016. Many young people said they were going to stay home then, and many did. But their votes matter, and they must be won over. And if they're not going to be won over, then different young people must be
mobilized. Trying to repeal Measure 1, trying to get a repeal Measure 110 on the ballot for one. Is that the, like, healthcare bill or the healthcare measure? Which one was that one? I know 114 is like the gun law one, but which one was 110? I think it was the healthcare one, wasn't it? Drug decriminalization. Oh, the decriminalization of drugs. Oh, well, dude. Dude, you just reminded me. Oh, dude. Oh, there's a Stop Sign video. I haven't watched Stop Sign in a long time, but like, there was actually a video he put out not too long ago that's actually, I didn't watch all of it, but it's fucking good, dude. It's actually kind of related to that a little bit. Oh, God, there's like a couple things I want to look at now. Okay, it was Measure 111, but I think, but it hasn't been implemented yet. That still hasn't been implemented yet? Oh, my God. When was that supposed to be implemented? I feel like it's been a minute now since we've had a vote on that, you know what I'm saying? Like, why does it feel like it's, like, what? Oh my God. Okay, but there wasn't a date. There wasn't a date! Oh my god! Well, what the fuck? Okay, well, whatever. Alright, well, at least it's there. Some years 114. 2022? Really? Was it really that recent? I thought it was, man. I thought that was 20. Okay, well, alright. Time's fucking flying by quicker than I thought.
That's right. Young people were already disappointed with Biden after the Supreme Court struck down his student debt cancellation plan. He said that he would pursue cancellation through the Higher Education Act. But as far as we know, that's just in limbo. He's kind of nibbling around the edges with small amounts of cancellation here and there for anyone who qualifies. But the overwhelming majority of us still have student debt. And even his SAVE Act, which is good in theory, hasn't benefited a lot of us till this point because applications that we've submitted have been stuck in limbo for months. So there's really been no real relief for student debt holders. And on top of that, he chose to restart student loan repayments, which was bound to piss off young people. So you've got that.
Oh, yeah, because that totally helps.
You've got all these reasons why young people were, I think, reasonably and rightfully disillusioned with Biden. But then you add a genocide to the list as well. And you begin to see why young people feel so frustrated with the Biden administration, why so many of them are just saying, I'm out. I'm not going to vote. What's the point? It doesn't feel like my life is changing meaningfully, so I'm just going to choose to stay home. Now, again, I don't agree. I think that who's in the White House does matter. But you can't just write these concerns off and hope things get better and cross your fingers, because that's not a gamble that I'm willing to make, especially when democracy really is on the line. But I mean, it's not just young people. Biden has lost support of Arab Americans in key swing states, and his attempt to repair that relationship hasn't been going well, to put it mildly. Abed Ayoub of the American Arab Anti-Discrimination Committee tweeted this, quote, Biden is scheduled to travel to Michigan at the end of the month to meet with Arab American voters. There is a problem. Many are rejecting the invite to meet, while others have rebuffed outreach efforts. The meetings are in jeopardy and currently looking like they won't happen in Dearborn, which was the Biden team's first and preferred choice. Don't be surprised if this trip is, quote, postponed due to scheduling. Reality is starting to set in for many that our community won't forget about the genocide. Yeah.
Which the Biden administration is hedging the bets on. They're like, I mean, there's been word in the Biden administration that like they're legit just hedging their bets that people will just forget about this by the time election day comes. And no, that's not how things work. Like, most Americans got a pretty short memory, but when it comes to shit that, really impacts them or they have like kind of a strong effect towards, they don't usually forget shit like that. Like, we might be short-term memoried on a lot of things, but when it comes to things that kind of mean something to us, not as much. So it's like, when it comes to this shit, fuck no. Like, I mean, they're still going to remember this. I mean, these fucking Trump cultists still, bitch about 2020, you know what I mean? So it's like, when it comes to certain things, I mean, the memory still, in the sting of it will still stick. So it's like, I mean, no. That's not how shit works. I mean, even just with the virtue of some of these Trump cults being the way they are and stuff, with like, all this other bullshit, like, they should figure that, like, when it comes to something that, like, means something to somebody, like, they're not going to just forget that. Like, when it comes to just like, oh, well, that sucks. It's like, yeah, sure, at that point, like when it comes to like some random bullshit that, might happen with domestic policy or this and that or whatever the fuck. But, like, when it comes to, like, the student loan debt forgiven shit, or, like, the genocide going on in Gaza, all these other things, like, people don't just forget that.
Well, I get that it's still early and things can change, including feelings, and I'm guessing that a lot is going to change between now and November. But the question is, will enough things change? And that's debatable. There's going to be a lot of people, especially Arab Americans, who's not going to change their mind because this is personal to them. They have relatives that died in Gaza, right? And Joe Biden has tuned them out, not listened to their concerns up until this point. And I'm glad that he's at least aware that now he needs to make an effort to reach out to the Arab American community because he needs their support to win states like Michigan. But he kind of waited a little long, right? He's still allowing the genocide to go on, so it might be a little too late. But at least...
And honestly, I don't think he's going to be stopping it anytime soon. Like, he's pretty, like, overtly all right and greenlit in this, to the point where, yeah, this is going to be going on for a while.
He knows that there needs to be...
Like, I mean, there's going to be some change and shit, and some of that is going to be the escalation of what's going on there, too.
...effort made. when it comes to young people, the administration seemingly doesn't even have a strategy in place to address their concerns. And I say this because in an interview with Joy Reid on MSNBC, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, who is an advisor to Biden's 2024 campaign, he really did not have a strong answer when he was asked about Biden's weakness with young voters. So let's listen to what he has to say. And then there's a follow-up that's even worse. But first, here he is.
I think that there is some significant anecdotal evidence.
Why does he look like he's holding in a shit? Oh my lord, he literally looks like he's constipated, holding in like the biggest log, dude. Stop the genocide, but that's gonna piss off my biggest donors, Jack, like AIPAC and Lockheed Martin.
Is that President Biden does have some issues in terms of parts of the younger electorate that are not in a good place with him.
Dude, this guy looks like he's holding in such a big shit, dude.
Things like Gaza.
And don't even get started on the old cream man Neon. He's gonna kick my ass. And I honestly would believe it, because Netanyahu is like, like a former soldier and shit, I think, too. So it's like, I mean, yeah, the motherfucker, yeah, they're like, Netanyahu is a fucking bloodthirsty maniac. You probably would literally do like an Aztecian level, like, human sacrifice with Biden.
On the, bombing of Yemen. There were just protests outside of the White House this past week. There is some energy that's building, particularly among Arab American voters.
It's like MTG on the weird video where she couldn't stop moving around.
Muslim American voters who say they will not vote for him because of his stance on Gaza. Is it bedwetting, or is the White House maybe not paying enough attention to real passionate objections to its policies by younger voters that they need to turn out? And I mean younger voters, including younger African-American voters.
Well, when you're a responsible leader, when you're in office, you have to make tough decisions, no doubt about it. And every time you have to make a tough decision, someone doesn't like it.
Yeah, the tough decision, like giving Israel a bunch of weapons, money, and a green light to just do a genocide. Go fuck yourself. I ironically hope he just shits himself right here, right now.
Truth is that we've seen Joe Biden underestimated all along in his entire.
What? What? Excuse me? You mean overestimated? Like, there's nothing to estimate when he's just like sleeping on the job 90% of the time. But all right. Okay. What fucking what alternate universe did you manifest from? What? What is there to estimate? I know. What the fuck is he talking about? Excuse me? Oh, well, I think I underestimate how much he's probably sleeping on the job, to be fucking frank with you. That's what I'm underestimating about Joe Biden there. I mean, it's like, what in the fuck is he talking about? Oh, my lord, dude.
And especially in 2020. In 2024, I think what we're going to see is a real focus on the.
You can't estimate the number 0
to people's individual lives.
I love how, like, you know that TJ video, which was more like a clip from Ben Hope, but he was like showing the polls of it was not really a poll, but it was like, what's one word you could describe, Donald Trump or Joe Biden, depending who you wanted. The first word for Trump was revenge. The first word for Joe Biden was nothing. Literally nothing. The word nothing. Nothing! It's like, oh my god. It's like the first word that most people think of, with Biden is nothing. It's like, Jesus Christ, dude. Oh my god, we are fucked.
To their families, to their communities. And that's, the economy. It means their freedoms. We talked about choice. In a lot of places in the country, people are deeply concerned about gun violence. And we know that Joe Biden has stood up for a ban on assault weapons. And
oh my god. Yeah, give me a break. Yeah, and even then, like the weird little like 1/10 gesture that he did on that was not even really anything. Like, it didn't, it didn't really do much besides just enforce red flag laws, basically, which is good. I mean, I think red flag laws are a good thing, so I'm not against those. So it's like, I mean, it's like that's all it really did. I mean, and like, I mean, I guess like the most I can really say about it is that I can nitpick about like, my personal idea about like how red flag logs, could be implemented. Like, depending on like the circumstance, like if it's someone who just happens to be like depressed and, shit like that, might potentially be at risk. I mean, that's, if they don't have a history of that, then that might just be like a temporary thing where, it's like, having, like a red flag for a temporary, like, seizure, at least in the meantime, just, until they are no longer in that position. I think that's, and then they can have them back after, they pass, like the tests in court or some shit like that or whatever the fuck. I think that, stuff like that's fine. I mean, because honestly, even for me, red flags laws are already temporary no matter what. Oh, so they're already like that. Okay, well, so yeah. I mean, so pretty much how they are implemented, to make it permanent, they need a court injunction. Oh, I gotcha. Okay. See, I thought they were like, already kind of set as like a permanent thing. I wasn't, but, I wasn't really too sure. But yeah, I mean, either way, that's why I've never been against red flag laws, because like, they certainly make sense. And obviously, sometimes people go through rough times where, frankly, yeah, they might be at risk if, they're a gun owner, and it's probably a good idea to just not have them around them, at least in the meantime, until they're in a better space, mentally and shit. I mean, because, this is before I even owned firearms, but, like, I've certainly have had, like, very depressive phases where, like where it was, not good. But, I'm not at that situation anymore, and haven't been in a long fucking time, and so it's, at least for me, it's like, it's, a good thing that, like, it wouldn't be a problem at this point, because, like, I've at least, also have learned, ways to at least try to, address, some of my depression as well. So it's not really as significant as, like, an issue as it has been in the past. And also, doggo helps too. Little fluff boy, kind of helps a lot too.
He has stood up for violence prevention programs in a way the Republicans just want to let go and, frankly, let people shoot each other wherever they may be with as many guns as they may want to have. So I do.
So we agree that red flag law, so we shouldn't agree that marijuana. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, because, you and I aren't really, like, that far off on, like, our positions on gun laws. I'm just not, like, big on, like, full-on, like, bans. I just want restriction of accessibility with more stricter, like, gun licensing and background checks and waiting periods and things like that. I mean, so, like, honestly, you and I aren't really that far off, when it comes to these things. I just happen to own a few guns and like them and like to shoot them. That's, I think, the main difference. I mean, because I'm more chill and laid back with them, I guess, and understand what they are and stuff, in a sense that, because I own them and shit. I think that's just kind of the big difference there. I mean, it's like, I just have, I guess, like, just a different perspective about it, just from that. But beyond that, I mean, honestly, I feel like we're not really that far off. Like, I mean, because especially when it comes to, like, the violence of, gun violence in this country, I mean, yeah, it is ridiculous. And there are way too many fucking just morons out there, whether, it's because they're responsible just on the virtue of being stupid or, and unsafe, or potentially being a threat to themselves or other people. Like, I mean, we just don't treat them like, how they should be. Because, they should be at least treated as serious, if not, frankly, maybe even more serious, as, like, getting a license and owning a car and shit like that. Because, I mean, there's, because, like, I mean, at the very minimal, at least. I mean, but frankly, I think they should go a little further and be, like, more restrictive than them. But nonetheless, I mean, as long as you go for all the qualifications shit, then, just like, if you got the money to buy the gun you want, then okay, cool.
I think that a focus on the issues that really matter to working families.
Fuck it, free guns for all.
Across the
Rose going the Second Amendment route
is going to matter for Joe Biden in a positive way. Now, there are always detractors. Right?
And you're right. This guy sounds like a more like, fucking zanned out Alex Jones. Like Alex Jones on a couple Xannies. Like, this guy does have a kind of like an Alex Jones voice. Not the cadence or anything, but he does have the voice a little bit. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, you're right. Dude, this guy does have like an Alex Jonesian voice.
People even that vote for Donald Trump who don't like things about Donald Trump. But in the end, when people are going to see the two visions for the future of America, that young people and people of color across the United States, not to mention the vast majority of American workers, know that it's Joe Biden that's fighting for them and Joe Biden that'll do better for them, Donald Trump will be a disaster for those groups.
Incredibly naive. Again,
I mean, it's just like, the two visions of America. It's like Cheeto, dementia-addled insanity, or just dementia-addled insanity. What do I want? Different flavors, but yeah, great, awesome, great choices.
People Joe Biden needs aren't voting for Donald Trump. They don't support Trump. The risk is them just not voting altogether, and tepidly signaling support for gun safety laws and abortion rights is not going to sufficiently mobilize young people. Biden needs a concrete action plan that he talks about nonstop to mobilize these voters. And even if he has that, it still might not work because they can't put aside the fact that he's supporting a genocide. But Joy Reid, to her credit...
Rose, what the fuck? It's my palm, baby. Guy gets shot and killed. I don't know what happens. So what's I fuck more about it? Goddamn pussy-ass liberals.
Been excellent lately. She asked a follow-up question since, she seemingly wasn't convinced, and it gets so much worse.
And you don't think that the White House needs to adjust or that the Biden re-election campaign needs to adjust in any way its messaging on issues of war and peace? Because these are issues, we are on MLK Day, and we do know that one of the things that Dr. King did later in his life was to oppose the Vietnam War. And this was an important issue to him, as important in the end of his life as...
Biden's going to be like, you're hired to conservation guy. Well, from my understanding, he's an advisor to his campaign. I think Mike said earlier that this guy is also an advisor to Biden's campaign. So, yeah, or at least a spokesperson or something.
For living wages and for racial justice. Issues of war and peace are passion issues. They're voting issues. And for a lot of younger...
And also, MLK also said in, the Birmingham prison letter or something like that, he also said that, injustice anywhere is injustice, injustice to one is an injustice to all. And, or it was either that or, injustice everywhere is injustice everywhere. And that was in reaction to, segregation and, the racism and, and shit that was going on at the time, during, in Alabama and stuff, because he was in Birmingham. And, so and it was talking about, the immense racism that was going on, the injustice that he saw. I think both are MLK quotes. Yeah, you might be right. I think, I think he phrased it in different ways in different speeches and things like that. So you might be right, actually. But I know at least an IWW quote is an injury to one is an injury to all. So I think you probably have at least adopted that phrase from that. Because I know he actually did work with a lot of workers' unions and workers as well too. It's actually one thing that isn't really as mentioned much about the civil rights movement. It was just as much as the workers' movement as much as this was the civil rights movement. There was a lot of strikes and workers walkouts and things like that going on at that time, just as much as the civil rights movement, and they went hand in hand with each other. And if I remember, I think I Have a Dream speech that he did was actually at a workers' rally. That was in tandem with the civil rights movement at the time. So. A lot of those things went right hand to hand with each other. Which is also what I really find annoying about, class reductionism as, a fucking, jab. It's bitch. Most fucking, workers' movements were, in tandem with civil rights and social justice. What the fuck what? It's not class reductionists don't exist, because they do, but but what? It's when, that shit gets, thrown around as a jab, it just really annoys me.
Americans, not even
because I've been called that before, and it's and especially because I'm a queer person. It's excuse me. It's social justice matters just as much as to me as workers shit. And they literally go hand in hand to me. Because for a lot of people, they can and do. So Yeah, I mean, it's like, what the fuck? Like, excuse me, bitch?
Younger Americans, but a lot of progressives and a lot of just people with a humanist view of the world, the Gaza issue is a voting issue. So you're saying that people will ignore that?
So class reduction is said to gay people who can't afford to move out in the South. I mean, yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. It's like, I mean, because a part of my advocacy was, at least, for, Venom being at least a queer person himself. It's like, that advocacy is for people like him, because it's like, yeah, like, I mean, because class, and where you are in that, in the class structure, especially if you're a queer person or a minority, like, it matters even more to an extent. Because, like, then you get, all these extra levels of impact and marginalization that happens. Because if you're a queer person, especially in a very bigoted area, you're likely to get fucking, harassed and, berated and insulted and all this other shit. And, if you're a black person in a very racist fucking area, well, same shit, it's like, I mean, so, all these other factors when it comes to, like, racial injustice and shit like that, like, in a lot of ways, it does go hand in hand. Because, like, the fact that, a lot of those black folk that, or, queer folk that might live in those areas and shit are unable to afford, an ability to, be in a better neighborhood or just get the fuck out of town and go into a place that they generally be more accepted in, they can't afford that because they can't find a fucking job, to pay the fucking bills, let alone save up money to leave. So it's like, I mean, and that's also what gets me about, like, the just move, bruh argument. It's like, well, I can't afford it. It's like, I mean, what, you think my ass can afford to just move wherever the fuck I want? Like, excuse me? It's like, good lord. I mean, and that's me. And it's like, and I can at least, afford a paycheck to paycheck scenario and shit and be okay, for the most part. Outside some red patches, I suppose, here and there and shit. But, like, beyond that, it's like, like, there are way more fucking people that are in fundamentally just, like, in way worse positions than me. Who, even with paycheck to paycheck, are pretty much consistently always in the rough patch. At least I don't have to necessarily worry about that as much. I still go for that shit, but it's like, there are people that literally every second of their fucking existence is at. And it's like, and that's insane to me. Foch is the only one who could do the just move thing. Yeah, which makes it even more smug and condescending, coming from him. Being like, oh, well, you could just move, bro. It's like, yeah, not all of us can do that. You can. And arguably, I guess I could, if I went into debt or something, I guess, which I don't want to do. But also, I just have other privileges that make, the ability for me to not have to move, a thing that I can do. Like, I mean, I was born and raised in this fucking house. My room I live in now is my brother's old room and shit. So it's like, it's one of these things where it's like, I mean, this is like a family home, this type of thing. And I don't really have a plan on leaving it anytime soon. It's move. Okay, I have a Cash App and PayPal. I'm waiting. Yeah, no shit. Yeah, it's like, that's it's like, it's like, that's why I want to say Vosh whenever he, like, says that to somebody. It's just like, hey, my dude, why don't you just move? It's like, well, hey, do they have a Cash App PayPal? Because they'll send it to you and, hey, maybe you can make a donation to jumpstart that. Parents might try the just move thing, that they'll end up having enough money for it. Maybe. Did you never see Kitty pass away today? Oh, what? Yeah, I didn't, read really any messages today. I was just kind of chilling, resting up after work being, ridiculous for the weekend. But I didn't see that. Man, that sucks, dude. That's another thing, even people could afford it. It's like, oh yeah, let me just uproot and ghost my family and friends I've known for years. Oh, actually, I mean, like, I was talking to my brother the other day, and, he's, well, I guess so. I'll put a pin on my story. It took Tick to the vet, and he has some condition called FIP. I'm assuming it's like feline something. That fucking bites venom. Yeah, that sucks, man. I've lost many cats. You know, and it sucks each time. It's horrible. But actually, like, you know, just kind of because it's still in my mind, just because I still have the pin on it. But like, I was made the choice to end this suffering earlier than later. Well, what's FIP? Do you know what it is? Did you look it up or anything? If you haven't, well, I'll give you some time to do that, because damn, bro. That's what it was like with my first cat, actually. Fuck. Okay, I'm just gonna keep a pin on that or thing, but but yeah, like with my first cat, Scooter, like he naturally died of old age, but you know, here at home, but when he was passing away, like, you know, it was just pretty much like me and my dad, just like hanging out with him the entire time, giving him pets and loves. I just, you know, yeah, man, just dropping in with the feels, man. It was years ago, but one of our cats got ran over. Oh man, I've seen that before, and it. Okay, all right. We've had it with the feels. Anyway, I still have that other thing that I have pinned on my mind, though. Feline infectious pronotis? Feline Rona. By feline coronavirus? Almost always fatal? Bruh, what the fuck? How's this even a thing? Because nature sucks. Smokey should be fine. It hasn't shown symptoms by now. Damn, dude. So there's no treatment for this besides just euthanasia? Dude, what the fuck? Bruh. But nature, you cold bitch. I know, dude. Bruh. Man, I'm sorry, Vams. That sucks. No treatment, no cure. Dude, that fucking sucks, man. Hold your pets close and love on them tonight. I'm doing that with Zuka. But there's actually one thing that I want to kind of like, you know, mention as a little side story. I still have it in my, you know, pinned. And then after that, we'll finish this video. We'll check out a little Daslan video I wanted to look at. But, like, to your comment, Rose, from earlier about, like, oh yeah, let me just celebrate with ghosts of my family and friends I've known for years. Like, my brother actually the other day, before I went to work on Monday, I called him up after my stream and shit, bookmarked stories, and said, yeah, I am. Yes, indeed. So, because honestly, this is something I've been kind of thinking about, you know, for a minute. Not, it's in a way of like, oh yeah, I'm, you know, considering it. But just thinking about it, I'm like, why? I mean, I think, you know, my brother doesn't realize, like, my roots are here. Because he was saying, you know, because, I mean, considering my mom's conditions and stuff, and, like, I mean, she frankly, doesn't really have, like, you know, like, that much time left. Not in the sense of, like, you know, any time, like, this year, so to speak. At least, fucking hopefully not. But, I mean, because of, like, you know, the constant, like, care that she needs, it's like, I mean, and then many times that she has been, like, ICU with, like, different blood infections and shit. I mean, it's just, like, it's, you know, pretty much one of those things where it's kind of like a ticking clock type of thing. You know, and, you know, one of the things my brother was catching up with me about is, like, you know, that's going to happen at some point, and it's like, yeah, we need to definitely legit kind of think of something real as a game plan about that. I'm like, well, yeah, obviously, and something that he offered up, in which I'm, wanted to immediately be like, no, because it's just like, I don't like really want to necessarily do it, not because of ill will to my family and shit, but it's like, he was thinking about like, well, since, like a lot of the roots of mom and stuff like that, and Texas stuff, why don't you like, we move down there with them and stuff, and you can get your own place. And I was, now I have to go where the job, where the money is and stuff. And, I've been having job offers down there occasionally and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, I definitely want to like visit them and definitely keep in touch and shit, but living there, like, and even mentions like, considering like Texas has just a state, not just really with like people or like, or at least, that I directly have, had to interact with in the past, or like, the environment inherently, because like the environment is pretty cool. Like, there's the landscapes of Texas ain't too bad if you can find like the few foothills and shit. You know what I mean? Like, and also like a lot of it's kind of small too. Like, there's like, a lot of the cool things about Texas is actually kind of small and like within like the life that is there, like with like little spiders or things like that. Someone to move to Florida. I know. And I'm just like, man, like, and especially with knowing me and my politics, and especially because I'm like a musician, I go to shows, things like that. Like, Portland's a hub for that shit. And it's like, and also I come from a different generation than him, to be fair. And honestly, it's like, and I kind of admire this part. Like, he wants, to kind of give me at least some aspects of like what he grew up with, to an extent when it comes to like, being able to like, have like, connections and shit. But it's like, which I get, but it's like, I kind of have, the thing is, I have my own brothers in Gen Z. Nah, he's a millennial. Dude, he's like in his he's about like your age. Well, he's a little older. He's like about mid-30s or something. Wouldn't it be Bumblefuck, Texas also like his rural area with nothing? It depends. Like, depends on which aunt I would end up be staying with. If it was with the one that is like southwest of Dallas, not in Midlothian, then yes. But if it's the one in Midlothian, then no. There's things around there, but you would have to drive really to make it really fucking worth it. Because like walking, it would be a nightmare. Because they don't know what the concept of a sidewalk is, and they know nothing but roads. But that's another thing too. The infrastructure is trash. Like, it's awful. Like, just fucking awful. The infrastructure is disgusting. Like, honestly, I have anxiety just thinking about it. Like, it is such a fucking nightmare, dude. Like, seriously, it really is. It's awful. It's like, goddamn, bro. Like I said, it's not like I wouldn't want to visit for family reasons, but, and hell, I don't even necessarily mind, visiting for like a month at a time or some shit, right? Like, at least like an every yearly or like year and a half vacation or something like that. Like, honestly, I'm willing to be alright with that. And even if it's at like a month at a time or, being down there or some shit, like, I don't really mind that. But like, living there and moving there, it's like, I got friends here. I have places that, I have like a routine where I go to. Like, other people kind of know me. I'm kind of a part of the community here a little bit. And like, in hell, it's like, if, because one thing he's mentioned is like, I don't, because to my brother, he doesn't really have much family out here outside of me and my mom, which, to be fair, outside of my dad, that's the same thing, but my brother doesn't have a dad. Like, his is in Iran, doing videography studies and shit. Well, teaching it, actually, but, I don't know if he's doing that anymore. I don't know what the considering, the different shit going on in Iran, I have no idea what the fuck's going on there. Not to mention, Abbott's fascist crackdowns would probably end up impacting you. Yeah, that too. Like, because I'm a queer person, I actively, like go to different forums, things like that, with like queer communities on like, you know, whether it was like Reddit, at least until I was banned there, until I make a new account, you know, or like all these other places, like whether it's Instagram or Threads or anything like that, you know, or whatever the fuck. It's like, I mean, I follow these different things and all this other shit. It's like, oh, it's like, no. Turns out his dad is actually the Supreme Leader. Oh, God. I mean, no. I mean, knowing who he was, definitely not. The only thing you have to sacrifice is my pew-pew. Nope. I'll just be driving that shit over here. I'd just, like, you know, get a fucking, you know, like, big cargo van, retrofit it up a little bit, put all the shit I want to move with, and guess what? Gun locker with all that is coming with it. So, yeah, no. From my cold hands, boy, come and take it. Come and take it. Oh, you know what, yeah. I want to kind of finish this clip, but we stun locked so hard that we're just going to get into that Dassan video I was talking about. And weed card, though. Who said I don't have a med card. Like, so... I mean, that wouldn't be a problem. I mean, weed is illegal in Texas. That no, he was meaning New Mexico. You thoughts on him? I said we were going to be checking this out. Besides, what do you mean, ew? You know, I have to find a dealer, boo. Yeah, and fuck that too. I mean, honestly, like, if I was in Texas, I have a really weird feeling that, like, I would have, like, a really major, you know, issue with, like, other things besides just, you know, weed. So, we'll be good. Sander doesn't like him. Okay, who gives a fuck what interpersonal drama some content creator has? Says Colt Rumor Bezan. Okay, well, alright. Well, I mean, like, at this point, I mean, it's like, it's a whatever thing. I saw this video and I was watching at least like 10 minutes of it and I thought it was good. So, you know, I wanted to check it out with everybody else. So, whatever. You know, good lord. I mean, there ain't no, like, minority rule, like, republic or some shit, like electoral, you know, college shit going on here. Plus, you don't like slime for other reasons. Well, you know, you could maybe suck it up, Buttercup, for a singular video for us to, like, you know, have fun and boof on for. You know what? You know, maybe for you it would be like the broken clock right twice a day type of situation. So I don't know. How about that?
A few weeks ago, YouTube recommended me this video. I investigated the country where every drug is legal by Tyler Oliveira. Now, if you...
What? Wait, your mom? What? Okay.
Look in the background of that thumbnail. You can see a little Canadian flag. And that's strange because I happen to know for a fact that Canada has not made all drugs legal. And I know that because I live in Canada and I'm not allowed to do a lot of the drugs that I would like to do. What a strange title for a YouTube video, I thought to myself out loud. How did he come to the conclusion that Canada legalized all drugs? And how did that conclusion survive what he calls an investigation? I was nowhere near prepared for the rabbit hole this video sent me down. I went on a real journey. Observe the runtime of this video and compare that to the 14-minute video I am responding to. Turns out he's talking about Vancouver, a city within Canada, not a country. Seems like that is a pretty obvious oversight. Seems like an easy error to avoid and more accurate.
Yeah, but he already did make a video about that, which shouts Portland out.
It does seem like he's talking about only a few streets in Vancouver that he walked around for a couple of afternoons. The natural question which arises is why not title the video I investigated the city where every drug is legal? And obviously, it's because he already had a video titled...
Yep, and this is about Portland, Oregon, dude. Like, dude, and 12 million views, by the way. Is it this shot again? Wait, do you know of this guy? I think I've seen a YouTube short or two of this dude before. I mean, because his face looks familiar. But yeah, like this guy literally goes around, pretending to be a journalist, just spreading right-wing propaganda. Yeah, I think this is the guy.
About Portland, Oregon. So instead of coming up with a more accurate clickbait title, he just kind of calls Vancouver a country. I guess that's more shocking and clickable. Feels like that should tip people off about his journalistic accuracy, but I don't see people talking about that in the comment section, and I've scrolled for a very long time, and I feel like I'm losing my marbles. What, is he deleting comments that point this out? How is nobody talking about the fact that Vancouver is not a country? That's
probably because they think Vancouver also means all of Canada. I mean, it's just like, like these chuds and conservatives, they literally also think, at least in America, they think some of these blue states / blue cities in those said states, run those states or the country. Like, they already think this. So they probably think that Vancouver and other cities like it are pretty much equivocal to all of Canada because they ran the country. It's just, based off of that weird, stupid logic. But it's like, shocker. Like, where most of the population is, yeah, the country's probably going to represent said most of the population, which most of them are going to be in fucking cities.
Huge detail to get wrong right up front. I did what I usually do in these situations. I put the...
Wait, what? Smoke is running around looking for Tig. He's yowling. Aw, poor kitty. Give that cat some love. Give that kitty a bunch of love.
Video in my little document of videos to respond to eventually, because I'm a little content goblin.
Dumbass doesn't even know Toronto's like 3 times the size of Vancouver. And I'm pretty sure it doesn't have the same problems as Vancouver does.
Bad videos to talk about, and I knew it was going to be pretty bad. Look at this fucking thumbnail. Warning, all drugs are legal. Who put that sign up? Like, nobody did. I'm not a moron. I realize it's a Photoshop. In the fiction this thumbnail is presenting, who put that sign there? The government? This video, and Tyler's content in general, is some of the most sickening stuff I've ever seen on YouTube. Some of the most sickening propaganda I've seen, period. And I've read the Turner Diaries for this channel. I'm not easily shocked.
Yeah, the Turner Diaries, like that little thumbnail he popped up for his video about that, which I've seen too. It basically literally is a Nazi Bible. Actually has mostly exactly the same issues, housing. Well, that seems to be the core foundation root of all the problems in these major cities and shit, whether it's in like Toronto, Vancouver, or places like Portland, Seattle, etc. That seems to be kind of the core root of the issue no matter what. The Nazi Bible. The Nazi Bible.
Who is Tyler Oliveira? He styles himself
the Nazi Bible, dude. Turn Diners is nasty work. It really is.
YouTuber turned investigative journalist, which is strange.
Wait, your step douche had a copy of it? Oh my god, if that doesn't scream Nazi, I don't know what does. Holy shit.
Of reasons, not the least of which is that he's still clearly a YouTuber. His alleged investigative journalism still takes place on YouTube.
Wait, I want to see some of those videos. What?
Strange for a number of reasons, not the least of which is that he's still clearly a YouTuber. His alleged
I investigated the most dangerous city in America. Oh my god, dude. I bet some of this shit is AI made, dude. Like, what the fuck is this? Like, some black guy having an AK and half of the places, like, half of the city is burning down. How much you want to bet this is like Detroit? How about all my guys wearing body? Oh my god, dude. You know what I was talking about, Rose, from earlier? Because you were the one in here first when I was mentioning it. You know that thing about the thumbnails where people were like, or having that Wojak face and shit? This is what I'm talking about. See what I mean? It's mostly the same shit. Like, Oh, there's videos talking about there on that. Yeah, dude. Oh my god, I investigated if aliens built the pyramids. I mean, look at this. This is so fucking rote, bro. Detroit's proved a lot in recent years. It's on the upswing. Well, Chicago, I don't know. Like, I mean, you know, it's like the conservatives still yell about Detroit anyway. I hunted near extinct species across Africa. Oh my god. I investigated a murder capital of America. Oh my god. Oh my god. There's another black guy in the background, and he has an AR-15 in his pants. Where, oh my god, dude. Dude, wow. The thumbnails alone should say it all, frankly. And the fact that one about Vancouver, BC right here shows a dude that, like, looks like a zombie or something. Yeah, again, it really shows his fucking politics in this. It's just a fucking, like, right-wing piece of shit.
On YouTube. In the past, he mostly did silly challenge videos, draining a pool with paper towels, surviving the ocean for a week, flying across America on a Charizard, that kind of stuff. Basic Mr. Beast wannabe shit, which makes sense because Tyler's big break was appearing in some Mr. Beast videos, but last February, his content took a dramatic shift into serious big boy journalism. He's investigated all sorts of hard-hitting topics, such as an underground city of mole people, Area 51, whether or not America did 9/11, and a whole lot of videos about places where there are a lot of homeless people, criminals, or drug users. And he does it with about as much tact as you'd expect from the man who executive produced Big Chungus the Game. Look at this shit. I investigated the city of real-life zombies.
That's how I feel. Like, what? Real-life zombies? Like, what the fuck? Like, equating homeless people that might be, you know, tweaking or something as, like, literal zombies just mulling around or something. I mean, like, what the fuck? Like, what?
I don't think he did. Journalistically speaking, I don't think that's what happened. Spoiler, he's talking about drug users. When he says real-life zombies, he means drug users. I don't need to tell you that he's dehumanizing drug users here, because here he is, literally saying they are not human.
Also, you might notice a pattern with all of the stock photos that Tyler uses in his thumbnails of criminals. See if you can figure out the pattern.
Tyler defends making videos about drug users and homeless people and other vulnerable people by saying that you'd have to be a real dum-dum to think this kind of content is something he's doing for money.
How naive can you think that covering these topics is easily a way to generate ad revenue sponsorships on YouTube? Because it gets to clickbait and it's, you know, content that a lot of right-wingers like, and you can boost your Patreon and thus, you know, get you ad revenue. Like, you're not a fucking idiot, Tyler. Don't be such a fucking moron, you piece of fucking shit. Really? Given my scope of knowledge on YouTube, I can never cover any topics. It's far more advertiser friendly and make much more money creating meaningless and uneducational drivel for the masses, which I have done and still do on occasion. That's what you do no matter what. I choose to cover these topics and stories despite repeated demonetization and restriction because I believe it saves countless people from ending up in a situation. No, it doesn't. This is literally just poverty porn. Like, oh, let's just like oogle at the drugged out homeless guy in the corner. Like, that's literally what it's about. So, like, there is nothing educational or fucking like, like holy or matrimonious about any of this shit. Trying to save fucking lives, and shit. Like, give me a break, you motherfucker. Piece of fucking shit.
Much about YouTube, he could make money doing anything, even, in his words, meaningless non-educational drivel, that he has done and still does on occasion. Look, if I was just interested in making money, I'd just make useless garbage, which I only do sometimes. And that is a strange claim for him to make, because if we go ahead and sort his content by most popular, 3 out of 10 of his most viewed videos are about homeless people and drug users, and those are the only videos among that top 10 that are less than a year old. They do seem to be his most popular content. So then, hey,
matrimonious? What, is someone getting married? No?
How come?
Like,
having done so many different kinds of videos with all sorts of different Pokemon, why is it that someone with your knowledge of YouTube, who could cover anything, find yourself in such a position where your most popular videos are on this supposedly difficult to profit off of topic? It does actually kind of seem like that's the easiest way to generate revenue on YouTube, dog. For you, anyway. Because you seem to have tried everything else, and this is the thing that worked.
Ignore getting married. Condolences. Yeah, that's what's going on. Yeah. Ignorism. Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to take that as an ignorism. Whatever. You know what I meant.
You're wrong. Maybe I just don't know enough about YouTube to know why actually getting 10 million views is bad for you. Tyler typically does not defend himself when criticized, but instead tries to find some reason to discredit his critics. Anything from them getting a high salary to them thinking they do good in the world, which is bad to think. Tyler, if you're watching and want to discredit me, first
Should I crack my last beer or save it? Flip a coin for it.
Not necessary. I mean, look at me. Secondly, I once made a video where I justified shoplifting, so use that. Given what I have told you so far, would it surprise you to learn that Mr. Oliveira has, in fact, exaggerated in order to push a sensationalist narrative? That he got the most basic, fundamental facts about the situation in Vancouver wrong in every way? In addition,
who would have thought that?
To not being a country, Vancouver has not made every drug legal. Shocking, I know. That is not what someone in the journalism profession might call true. British Columbia, the province that Vancouver is within, also not a country, has decriminalized possession of less than 2.5 grams of specifically opioids, cocaine, MDMA, and methamphetamine. You may not distribute these drugs. You may not sell these drugs. They are not, in any sense, legal. They are not sold in stores. You cannot buy...
Yeah, because being decriminalized does not mean that it's legal.
Cocaine at Walmart. All that's happened, the big thing he's making this video...
I mean, that'd be kind of cool.
...about is that from 2023 to 2026, Health Canada has granted adults in British Columbia a temporary exemption from criminal charges for possession of less than 2.5 grams of these drugs. It's still illegal. It's just that you won't be prosecuted for possession of small amounts for personal use under most circumstances, unless you're like by a school or something. All of this information is available on the website for the province of British Columbia. It is the first Google result for drug decriminalization in BC. It's all pretty easy to...
Even if it was, all these drugs are legal. So, I mean, yeah, also that's like, another thing too. You never get married and not to me. I'm not getting married. Oh my god, it was like an ignorism and a little like meme. Okay, whatever. I'm not okay, whatever. Oh my god. I said country because Vancouver's pretty much Canada. It's a small country. I said all drugs because marijuana is a gateway to all drugs. I tell you what, brother.
Find out. If you don't want to read a single web page, they have condensed it into a one-page fact sheet which outlines all of this. So it's not...
Let's get married to that hat. Yes, I am. Oh, fuck. Okay, no, that's it. Okay, there we go.
Cryptic information. It's not something you need a law degree to understand.
Got a little sloppy with her. Apologies.
Kind of laid it all out in plain English for you to investigate, journalistically. So that's the lying he did in the title of his video. All of those inaccuracies are contained within 9 words, 6 of which are lies. This is not a country. The law does not represent every drug. None of them are legal. And he certainly did not investigate any of this.
This is Vancouver, Canada, a city that made every drug legal. Drug addiction, overdoses, homelessness, and crime.
Keep driving. Again, Vancouver did not make
Oh shit, someone got a little angry and punched our window. Quick, drive. This will be great for content. Oh god.
We've covered the several discrete lies in that claim. Let's move on to some of his new lies. He claims that addiction, overdoses, homelessness, and crime are all side effects of decriminalization. And that's a pretty big claim to throw around without citing any evidence at any point throughout the entire video to support it. He's trusting that...
Because, it's just basically about sensationalism and pushing a narrative that, not, being a prudish, puritanical fuck, that, dictates that, doing drugs and being homeless is, some literal moral failing. And if anything, are willing to, clean the streets up with literal far right death squad vigilantism and shit. That's basically the fucking narrative that's being pushed. Probably after we were harassing him to offend him. Yeah. That's not a dare. That's an obligation, sir.
You'll take his word for it because he shows video footage with what we are to assume are examples of these problems. He walked around with a video camera and saw homeless people doing drugs, ergo, decriminalization has backfired. Obviously, many people in Vancouver are drug users, and ergo, tragically, they do overdose. There is also crime and homelessness in Vancouver as there is in any city. It's worth pointing out, neither Vancouver or British Columbia are the worst places in Canada for any of this. The most drug use is in the prairies, for example. The most overdose deaths are in Toronto, because Toronto is the most populous city in Canada, and it's certainly not as though any of these problems began when BC decriminalized these drugs, which I know because they decriminalized these drugs in an effort to mitigate these exact problems. Once again, according to the website for British Columbia's page on the exemption, which I cannot stress enough, is the first Google result for drug decriminalization in British Columbia. The decriminalization of people who possess certain illegal drugs for personal use is a critical step in BC's fight against the toxic drug crisis. It will help reduce the barriers and stigma that prevent people from accessing life-saving supports and services. So, it's not like they're just saying, I don't know, we'll make the drugs safer somehow, like you're claiming.
Yeah, just like, if you just legalize it, then just willy-nilly, just who gives a fuck, just might as well. Yeah, right. It's like, because, there can't be, like, any other, like, steps or barriers or breaking down of barriers, to potentially help, these people in the first place. It's not just, like, somehow like decriminalizing, which isn't legalization of these substances, is actually going to I don't know, help or not. Hit Mountain Dew bong water? No.
The city's goal was to make using drugs safer by making them legal.
If you're struggling with drug dependency, one thing that might prevent you from accessing life-saving support and services...
I love how these people think the instant law is implemented, somehow all the damage from that law not being in place will somehow magically reverse. The Soul Addicts decide being legal. Checkmate, you fucking limb. I know, dude. It's because, because it being, criminalized certainly stopped, people from being addicted to these drugs. Because that totally works, right?
Is the fear of getting arrested or already being in jail. Drug dependency is a disease. And it's a little fucked up, in my opinion, to arrest someone because they have a disease. Or, to put that another way, substance use is a public health matter, not a criminal justice issue. Public health experts, police, and advocates have called for decriminalization, pointing to a range of potential benefits. Just to place all of this in context, BC is in the middle of what it calls the toxic drug crisis, which the province declared to be a public health emergency in 2016, and it has since claimed the lives of 13,000 people. So, a range of experts, including such soft-on-crime police-hating institutions as the Canadian Association of Chiefs of Police, advised the province to decriminalize certain drugs, and just pause to reflect on how bad a drug crisis needs to be before even the police are like, ooh, maybe arresting people isn't working.
The city's goal was to make using drugs safer by making them legal, but many Canadians think it's done the exact opposite.
Many Canadians think it's done the opposite. Okay, many Canadians think Tim Hortons coffee tastes good. That doesn't make it so. So on the one...
Yeah, there's also plenty of fucking people that think Trump won the election still last year. Or not last year, but last election. So, that doesn't make it true. So...
We have a range of specifically public health experts saying one thing with data from other places that have made similar changes, and on the other, many people. Where are those people? Why do those people think it's bad? What do they have to say? Who knows? It's all just a matter of opinion, so we gotta get boots on the ground and see for ourselves. What does that prove? It's not as though he did
nothing. It just kind of proves like a fake sensationalist bullshit. Like, oh yeah, like some people have said that this is actually very tremendous what's going on. Very tremendously sad, I must say. Very tremendously despicable, I must, just believe me. A lot of people have said this is just very sad. And it was meant to do a bunch of good, but it did not do good. It did nothing but, very disastrous things. Let me just tell you, very disastrous things. Some people have told me. That's literally is just like what it feels like.
Similar walkabout of downtown Vancouver before these measures went in place. Even if it were hell on earth now, how could he say for sure it wasn't even worse before decriminalization? I'm not a professional investigator, so far be it for me to act like I know better, but a supplemental approach I might suggest is looking at any information on the subject at all. Below are some tables from the BC Coroner Service for deaths due to illicit drug overdose. The yellow line represents Vancouver. Can you tell from these graphs when the exemption went in place, where law and order began to break down, and Vancouver became a haven for the damned? Right about here. Does that look like a big spike to you? Seems pretty consistent with the trend before the exemption to me. Overdoses have increased, of course, as indeed they have every year since 2019. And if we exclude 2019, so too have they done every year since 2013. I guess decriminalization is just such a bad policy, it made the drugs go back in time and kill people 10 years ago. What about just general drug use? Well, that's harder to measure, but if we look at Health Canada's Analyzed Drug Report from January to March 2023, where we would expect the largest increase in illicit drug use, if indeed the root cause were decriminalization, there was a 12% decrease in illicit drugs found in samples tested in BC, which might sound good, but it's much worse than the national figure, which showed a decrease of 23%. And we also saw a 19% increase in stimulant drugs, as opposed to the 7% increase nationally. Not great.
And I noticed that, stimulus sim to be a major upper, looks like. What the fuck, dude? Hey, sit back down. Get up there. Come on. Fucking goober. Nuclear bomber can tell you. Oh my god, fine. Where the fuck is it? Okay, it's not any of that. That's great. That's not what I wanted. Alright, where the fuck is it? There it is. It's quiet as fucking there, sir. I mean, how? You couldn't even fucking finish it. Oh my goodness, you couldn't even finish that damn thing. Oh my lord, I couldn't even finish the hit. Oh my lord, I felt that. I felt that. Oh goodness gracious, I felt that. Oh my lord, sweet mama mercy.
Numbers, I'll admit. But also, seems kind of like that's just how the trend was going. Well, what about crime? Surely crime has
This is what drugs do to people.
Worse, surely these real-life zombies are out there killing and eating people. The narcs over at Stay Safe Vancouver looked at police data, which reports that in the first quarter of 2023, again, where we would expect the greatest increase if, indeed, the root cause were decriminalization, assaults were down by 2.1%, robberies by 7%, thefts remained steady, home break-ins and auto break-ins were down, but alarmingly, property crime was up 7%. So it's basically the purge.
Oh shit. A tiny little uptick in property crime? Oh fuck, dude. Oh shit, bro. It's still the police state now.
One crime that I'm really scared of when I hear of high rates of drug use, it's vandalism. A quick note here, I'm not typically one to rely on information supplied to me by police, as the police are demons, but generally, it is in their best interest to, if anything, overrepresent crime. Their budget is contingent on there being a lot of crime, so they can say they need a lot of police and police toys to deal with it. Well, what about homelessness? According to the Metro Vancouver point in time count for 2023, homelessness has increased 32%. Since 2020, which was the last time this data was collected. And if you look at the data, it's pretty consistent with the trend once again. But it needs to be said, this is the biggest upward jump between surveys since 2005. Perhaps, at least partially because, and younger viewers may not remember the year 2020, but there was this huge fucking plague that destroyed the world economy. Of those surveyed, 24% of people attribute their homelessness specifically to substance use, which some of you math whizzes out there might note is not enough people to account for this dramatic uptick. I mean,
it's only a quarter. Like, I mean, if anything, a majority, like at least a third, it's just due to the lack of proper income. Which it seems like, the substance aspect of things isn't really like the biggest concern there. It would probably be the fact that people can't afford to pay their rent and shit. That'd probably be a factor.
Find no evidence whatsoever of an appreciable spike in any of these statistics that is inconsistent with general trends. I've also gone out of my way to present these statistics in a greater context, even when that diminishes my argument, and what he's saying here is, and let's put this charitably, not demonstrated by the data. It's also pretty wild how easily he could have used this information selectively to paint a damning picture. All of the numbers have gotten worse. You could just say that and not mention the context, but he's too lazy to even do that. Like, literally the only time he shows any numbers or any data for any of this, he just cribs an infographic from CTV, and CTV was citing the coroner service report I already mentioned. This is what he calls investigative journalism.
Check it out, so coroner's report, and that's literally it? Like, oh my god, like, seriously. Like, that's supposed to be a metric for anything, like, like, I mean, really? I mean, just because, like, there might be, like, an uptick on, like, coroner reports on, like, substance being in their bodies doesn't inherently mean that, like, there's suddenly, like, a big plague or a problem. Like, can I help you? What do you want, you little mutt? I'm just gonna give you fucking aggressive face scritches. And aggressive head pats. That apparently you're okay with.
I should also point out I don't yet have access to a lot of data for 2023, so it's hypothetically possible that Tyler's baseless assertions might be proven correct in the future. But as of now, it sure seems like they won't. And either way, he doesn't have access to them either, so it's kind of irresponsible to just pull this out of your ass. We're 15 seconds into the video, and we've already debunked its entire central premise with a few minutes of work, so I'm starting to question how thorough Tyler's investigation is going to be.
So I went to downtown.
I mean, I will admit, it doesn't really take stat wizard, to figure this out, frankly. I mean, it really doesn't. I mean, it's like, it certainly helps, but it doesn't really take some wizard to, to look up, some stats and data and shit like that to figure this shit out.
Vancouver with my friend Kevin, a social worker and drug addiction specialist, to see the impact decriminalizing drugs has had on the
specialist, huh?
City.
So this is Kevin Dahlgren. Dahlgren does not live in or work in Vancouver or British Columbia or Canada, for that matter. He works for the city
Shocker!
of Gresham, Oregon, as a homeless service.
What? What the fuck? Wait, why is Oregon getting Dude, another shout out to Oregon? What the hell? And of course it's Gresham. Dude, this motherfucker really... he's good... Okay. Really? We're gonna get some dumb fuck from Gresham? Seriously? Some right-wing dipbag, from Gresham? Are we kidding me?
Provider. Well, as of March, he no longer works for Gresham. We will return to why later.
I wonder why. I'm curious for that one.
Here is that he's not a local, which makes his inclusion in this documentary a little strange. Why not get a local social worker? Surely they'd have a more relevant perspective on the subject of Vancouver. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? And you're just going to have to bear with me for a little while because we need to take a look at Kevin Dahlgren. This is the point in the video where it will become clear to you just how deep a rabbit hole I found myself within for this video. This is the part where things will begin to go off the rails. At first blush, Kevin comes across as a deeply compassionate person, eager to roll up his sleeves and make a difference in his community. You can find lots of videos of him giving money to people who need it, and a lot of...
So this guy is like a fucking, social media influencer guy too? Oh, God.
Videos of vulnerable people saying he was the first person who reached out to help. Videos, of course, that he uploaded on his YouTube channel and his Twitter page. Feels a little exploitative, but maybe I'm just being too cynical.
Well, I mean, because it is exploitative. I mean, it's poverty porn. It's basically like, ogling and just like, in a way, just like exploiting their fucking, like the consequences of the conditions in, our country right now by basically just like putting them out, online. It's like something for people to oogle and, kind of ogle at. Be like, ooh, look, see? It's like someone who's, in a way worse situation than me. Ain't it sweet that somebody out there is helping them because it surely ain't me. Like, that's basically what it is. It's like, I mean, it's fucking gross.
Kevin
and it is exploitative.
Tirelessly against what he calls the homeless industrial complex, a confluence of civil, political, and commercial interests, which he believes throws money and resources at the problem of homelessness to line their own pockets without addressing it in any meaningful way. The homeless industrial complex has spent billions of dollars trying to solve a problem they do not understand. Most money in homeless services goes toward the Housing First model, citation needed. The idea is that by immediately giving a homeless person a roof over their head, meeting their basic needs, they are more likely to change. But this costly approach doesn't work. Since they are not required to change the behaviors that led them to and kept them on the streets, the success rate of the Housing First model is low. Citation needed. I don't know if being homeless is exactly conducive to proper mental health, Kevo. I do feel like, if you don't have shelter, it's kind of hard to do that deep work on yourself. But I don't know. What do I know? It's not like, every time they ever just do a study where they give homeless people money directly, that seems to have an enormous success rate. Because if that were true, that would...
And also maybe giving a roof over their head also has a very high success rate as well. Shocker.
That would contradict everything you're saying. And unhoused people deserve much more substantial help than they currently receive pretty much anywhere. I agree with you on that. But then he starts to lose me when he says stuff like, multiple homeless have said that the system is loving us to death. They hate the idea that they're being enabled. They may not say no to it, but they still don't like it. What they want is to be empowered. They want responsibility. They want accountability. Oh, if you've struggled with...
Well, yeah, I guess if I'm homeless, just hold me accountable and just, like, penalize me, and that'll definitely, work. Huh?
Homelessness, please let me know if I'm out of line here. But actually, I think the main thing they probably want is a home. Because that's a safe, clean place to sleep and shower and use the bathroom and keep your stuff. Just an educated guess on that. And I don't know. Something about the way he said homeless instead of homeless people, that felt really strange to me. As though he's going out of his way not to have to mention that they're people. And that is not what you'd expect from someone who styles themselves as this compassionate defender of the downtrodden. And so I started to look into it, and it is something he does pretty consistently. Like, for example, in this report he was contracted to create for the Deschutes County Sheriff's Office in Oregon. Throughout, he refers to unhoused people as simply homeless, even in sentences where that doesn't really make any sense. Of the times he refers to homeless people in this report, he uses just homeless, or the homeless, 17 times. He uses the words homeless man twice, and homeless person once. But something else stuck out at me when I read this. The report also has a lot of rudimentary spelling and grammar errors, something I knew going in because a lot of the things I'd read about him brought that up. I wasn't prepared for just how ubiquitous and frankly baffling some of them were. I've started doing extensive mapping of Deschutes County.
Oh my god, like the hustle is like you being a teacher, like an English teacher, like, oh, well, there's a lot of grammatical errors, we're gonna have to dock you for that. Oh my god, like, oh man, what a goober. And this guy's from fucking Gresham. Oh my god, this guy is like some probably Republican, like, has like some savior complex, but it just really wants to penalize and criminalize homeless people and shit. Probably thinks he's doing the greater moral good, but he's just a nimby little fucktard. I mean, this guy just sounds like a Republican, like fucking neolib-esque, like moderate Republican, like fucking dipshit, dude. Like, I mean, good lord. And evidently didn't really get too far in school.
In counting as many homeless as possible. And that's the first sentence of the report, by the way. The first sentence has a typo. For 12%, tell report having contact with an outreach worker offering help with housing. I have spoke to 35 of them. I have spoke to 16 homeless. He got a job in Eugene, where his family lives. The snow...
Where is family? What?
With that family. At first, you might be wondering why I'm talking about the typos in some random report this guy wrote. Which seems kind of petty, right? Seems like I'm grasping at straws here.
I feel like you're not, because I have a strong feeling that there's probably a repeated pattern with this, isn't there?
But the thing is, he was paid $18,750 of taxpayer money to create this report. A report.
Some of that's my money. Excuse me?
The first paragraph of which contains the sentence, when possible, I do an assessment and learn as much as possible, which is not only redundant, it also implies there are times where he does not do an assessment or learn as much as possible.
That's government money, which the state government taxes me to have said money, which they then put into this dipshit's weird little, horribly grammatically broken report when it leaves your check. Okay, look, I understand the whole little hoopla shebang about, like, look, I get it, technically, and blah, blah, blah. Like, look, I get what you mean, but still.
Like many Deschutes County officials, I'm a little confused about why this report was commissioned in the first place. The information he was contracted to collect was already recorded, much more thoroughly and professionally, by the 2023 Central Oregon Point in Time count. His information conflicts with theirs quite heavily, and I'm inclined to believe them, because you can watch an hour-long YouTube video where their methodology and results are meticulously outlined. They have copies of the forms they used, recordings of the training they gave to volunteers, all made freely available. Whereas Dahlgren...
Oh my god, are you serious right now? Would you say money you use for groceries is still yours after purchase? Well, no shit, dirt. Like, when you spoke, I mean, I was about to be like, bro, come on.
Methodology is a little less transparent, because it seems to me like he was walking around and counting stuff by hand. It also seems like it was just him doing it, because at one point, when talking about the La Pines area, he says, I have not mapped the areas with the highest concentration of homeless. They are in the deep woods, and am getting an escort there soon. I didn't do this on purpose, but literally every quote I pulled from this report, quotes that I had to cite for context, had at least one typo. I don't want to speculate, but it kind of feels like Dahlgren's report was commissioned in order to push a political narrative. There's a lot of him just half-remembering anecdotes and making some claims he doesn't even attempt to substantiate. Like, for example, the overall consensus with the homeless I have met so far, 63.8% of the homeless I have met came from outside the county. They came for a variety of reasons. Many have told me they are here of the
told me what?
Rules and the decriminalization of drugs. How many? How many told you?
Yeah, like what? Did like hundreds upon hundreds of these motherfuckers just call up to you and like talk to you about this? Like, what is this guy? What? And that dude, just the double me, dude. It's like, yeah, I've had many homeless come to me, you know, to discuss this type of thing. Like, what? Oh my god, this guy's a fucking dipshit. Oh my god, this guy. They're not sending their best, ladies and gentlemen. They are not sending their best.
They are here of that. Who can say? I mean, you could say, but you don't.
The last sentence of the report is also this curious little nugget. 7% of the homeless report addiction as the leading cause of their homelessness. I believe it is closer to 75% of all adults currently homeless in Deschutes County. That's...
Well, 7% say it's due to substance abuse, but I believe 75% of those fucking people are actually, you know, like homeless because of substance abuse. The other fucking, 68% of them are fucking lying pieces of shit. Yeah, they're just lying. Yeah.
What you do when you're paid $18,000 to do a survey is you just guess. You just assume the data you got is off by a factor of 10 based on vibes. Are you starting
based on vibes?
Maybe this guy has an interest in portraying homelessness as primarily the result of drug addiction? Are you getting...
Wait, see what I mean? I mean, this video's kind of good. This video's good. I mean, come on.
Impression that maybe he's willing to exaggerate to push that narrative based on him saying he's doing that here in his report that he submitted for $18,000?
There is a bizarre fixation in this report with whether or not whether the homeless he's counting are from the same county.
Whether homeless are there, yes. See, actually, you still got it wrong there, Slime. It was actually not supposed to be the homeless. It's supposed to be just homeless. It's like, it is homeless that he spoke to, not just, the homeless. Come on now. You have to use even more dehumanizing language here.
It might seem like just an academic interest or, at worst, a weird little personal bugaboo. Unless you're familiar with the ways that conservatives like to lie about homeless people. They love to pretend that homeless people just appear whenever a liberal government does liberal stuff.
I mean, really, that really is conservatives in that show. It's like, whenever those Democratic communist liberals just get in power, homeless manifest out of nowhere.
To wherever the libs make the conditions best for the homeless, like mosquitoes looking for poorly drained swimming pools. In reality, you will typically find a lot of people from other places among homeless populations because if you think about it for a fucking second, you're more likely to become homeless somewhere where you have less of a support network, where you don't have family or old friends like one might in their hometown or place of origin. This man, who we are to believe is a homelessness expert, seems to think that homeless people have a disproportionately robust and up-to-date knowledge of city policy all across the country, which they use to migrate en masse to wherever the wacky libs get up to their old tricks again, as though homelessness is just the result of people deciding that the benefits of homelessness they receive thanks to government handouts outweigh the negatives.
Them damn communist, socialistic, liberal government handouts, brother, tell you what. That's what happens when you get liberals. You just get, just homeless manifesting out of nowhere. People just don't want to work no more, and to get just nothing but chaos and lawlessness.
You see, according to Kevin, they're simply not motivated to get a home, because the city will give them food anyway, so why bother? Why would you need a home if you've already got a sandwich? Why not just...
Oh, wow, because, having a, belly, full, means like, oh, you're hunky-dory. All good. Yeah, I'm still homeless and, shivering in the fucking cold right now. Like most of the country's homeless people probably are at the moment. I'm probably suffering about that right now, but hey, at least I got a free sandwich. No fucking, homeless dude is, thinking that unless, they haven't eaten in, 4 days or some shit. So unless they, which, frankly, they're, okay, maybe whatever. But, they're still gonna want a roof over their fucking head either way. They'll be even more ecstatic and happy if they had a roof over their head, outside of a fucking sandwich. It's cause holy shit, what?
Stay homeless. It's so easy. Easy living. That's what homeless people are known for. I'm not editorializing, by the way. He literally claims homeless people have it too easy. He had a video on his YouTube channel go viral where he interviewed a woman named Wendy who had this to say.
So how is it like being homeless in Portland?
I know where the fuck that is. I recognize... Oh my god. As soon as it said Portland, I started looking in the background. I know where the fuck this is. Dude, this is just one of the more, sketchy areas of Portland where there are a lot of homeless people and shit. And she just happens to be one of them.
Piece of cake, really. I mean, that's why you probably got so many out here, because they feed you 3 meals a day. You don't have to do shit but stay in your tent or party, or if you smoke a lot of dope, you can do that.
In a follow-up interview, Wendy said that she felt that...
So, one homeless person in Portland, means that that's literally what all homeless people, think and, and feel about the situation. Yep, totally. One anecdotal experience of one, homeless lady, totally means that that's what they all feel. Because I've talked to some of those people in Portland before, and at least pretty much in every time I've talked with them, they're like, no, I wish I wasn't out here. I wish I had a little studio apartment or at least something. It's usually them having a roof over their head is one of the things that they wish they would have and not, have to be in the fucking situation that they're in. It tends to be the common theme, with a lot of them. I don't think homeless folk are.
What's this? Put your head between these 2 restrained logs and win a free hat. Well, that's a no-brainer. Come on, you fat... Do it.
Come on, you fat fuck, do it.
Who's laughing now? I got my hat.
Yeah, he's got his hat. Yeah, that's basically what they feel about, homeless people. NIMBYs, conservatives, yep, that's what they feel.
In a follow-up interview, Wendy said that she felt that this was framed inaccurately and that the video portrayed this as her personal experience rather than her anecdotal observation about others. And I find that telling, that even the people who agree with this narrative, the people that Kevin is using to launder this narrative, feel it is used to misrepresent the problem and dehumanize them. And it's all sort of a contradiction, right? Because if he believes that unarmed people are not being adequately supported, and again, I agree, but also thinks that providing them with food or necessities creates dependency and stops them from...
If you see a sign saying you win a free hat doing that, don't. Yeah, I'll make sure not to. Or I could just be an Indiana Jones style thing and just do some crazy dodge or something. I'm pitch my tent on Ignar's backyard and squat there. Milwaukee does not have the very exact same laws that Portland does, so good luck with that. You can move to Portland and do that, and have fun with that, but not around here.
Becoming responsible, empowered, and accountable, whatever that means. Accountable to whom? What's the solution then? What support do you think is
needed?
Gotta be accountable to police and a bunch of annoying NIMBY fucks that get annoyed with your mere existence. That's basically what he means.
In Kevin's view, the best way to help unhoused people is to individually intervene one by one, solving personal problems in their life.
As long as they pay me rent monthly.
that prevent them from getting off the street. Each person is like a quest in a video game, a little puzzle where you get the right item or fulfill the right set of steps, and that fixes the problem forever. In his report, he lists what he calls success stories of people that he's helped in this way, something I don't feel like is in the mandate of that report. For example, the Santiago family, who he did a fundraiser to help get a new car part they needed to move on, like their fucking ghost, and he's solving their unfinished business so they can go to the other side. I'm not really sure why providing people with food creates dependency, but providing them with car parts wouldn't, but okay. That's certainly commendable. In general, I'm in favor of people getting their cars fixed. There are, however, some problems with this approach. For one, it's not really scalable, right? Like, it requires far too much time to be reasonably applied to each and every person who needs this kind of help. For another, I think there are a lot of people whose problems are going to run deeper than needing a car part, and who will require some more sophisticated support than an individual social worker might be able to provide. And also,
no shit.
So many social workers don't have big YouTube accounts they could use to solicit for donations. But worse than any of that, to me, it seems to put these people in a very vulnerable position where they're dependent on one person alone who could easily use this power to manipulate them, or worse. Now, I don't say any of that to impugn Kevin Dahlgren's reputation or to diminish the good work he may have done in the past. But hypothetically, if I were interested in impugning his reputation and diminishing the good work he may have done in the past, I might point out Kevin Dahlgren is currently charged with 7 counts of identity theft and 5 counts of official misconduct for...
Oops.
Allegedly stealing the identity of homeless people who came to him for help in his capacity as a homeless service provider. So, that's not...
So he's just like also a fucking, criminal piece of fucking shit. Like, in the guise of helping homeless people, he's like trying to steal their identity and take advantage of potential services that they could have. Like, oh my god. What?
Oh, also, the investigation into this alleged fraud started before he was contracted by the Deschutes County Sheriff's Office. So they just didn't look into him at all before deciding to hand him $18,000.
Wow, I'm not surprised at all that, the fucking sheriffs were like, oh, well, you're one of the good old boys. There you go, sure.
He could walk around, count RVs, and give them a PDF without spell checking it. Also, hey, remember the Santiago family? The ones Kevin held a fundraiser for? Turns out they didn't actually make it to the other side, or Alaska, like he said in the report. And of the thousands of dollars Dahlgren claimed to have raised through solicitations on his YouTube page, they say they only received $900. And that's not fun. The fun has not been raised at all. So, all of this to say, this is the man that Tyler Oliveira brought on as his expert. The man whose credibility we are meant to lend to this video.
Who's like a total fucking fraud and a total piece of fucking shit that, is, pretty much like a little, low-level grifter, dude.
Who he invites along in a conspicuous amount of videos rather than speaking with, a local social worker. Seems, to put it mildly, a little bit shady. Of course, when they filmed this...
A little bit shady.
Dahlgren had not yet been formally charged. We can't expect Tyler to know the future or to vet his sources, and when this was brought to his attention, he responded like I think any journalist would. By calling the person who told him stupid and asking whatever happened to innocent until proven guilty.
Even though he's literally charged for it? What?
Okay, so...
Wow.
Let's all just agree, for the sake of argument, that it would be impossible for Tyler to call up Dahlgren's employers in Gresham and ask why he'd been put on administrative leave. Let's pretend that's an unreasonable thing to expect from an
especially if they're the sheriff's office, because, hey, it's a good old boys club.
Journalist.
Gotta make sure you protect the boys in blue.
Let's also pretend that the phrase innocent until proven guilty is like a rule of etiquette instead of what it is, a rule of impartial jurisprudence. Don't you think that once you discover that someone has been charged specifically with fraud, it might be a bad idea to present them to your audience of millions of people uncritically and specifically link to the page where they solicit money without mentioning that fact?
And if you want to support Kevin, go check out his YouTube channel at Truth on the Streets, or help support his work directly and donate at truthonthestreets.org.
Don't you think that
oh my lord,
might affect how...
Yeah, let me just unequivocally just blindly support this fucking grifter because I'm a grifter, so hey, grifters of the feather stick together, you know what I'm saying?
audience perceive him and his reputation, don't you think they have a right to have that information?
Man, like, he hasn't really shown too much clips of the video itself, but oh my god, every tiny little microsecond that it does show, it pisses me off. Like, oh my god. I mean, especially with the deep dive about this Gresham social worker, quote-unquote, fuck. Like, that one hits a little close to home, because Gresham is, like, a part of the Portland Metro area, which I'm also a part of. It's just the eastern side of it. Like, I mean, you know, if I wanted to, I guess I could make my way out there, but, nah, fuck that. I mean, Gresham sucks. So I'm not, you know, I'm not really keen on being over there. And, you know, shocker, I'm not really too surprised this dumb fuck, you know, decided to pop out, you know, like a weird little turd, you know, right out of Gresham, like, ugh.
Deciding whether to give him their money? And furthermore, let's just keep it tucked away in the old brain meat that Tyler believes so strongly and innocent until proven guilty. Just remember that fact in case, I don't know, he or Kevin repeatedly, baselessly accuse people, or indeed multiple people, of doing crimes. We're now 30 seconds into the video. I hope you're starting to understand the depth of bullshit we're dealing with here.
Give a chance for you if you want to get a hat. What may that be? Because I feel like there's a lot of death and bullshit here, buddy.
Are smoking fentanyl, smoking crack out here.
Yeah, it's
just straight fentanyl, straight meth, straight crack everywhere.
Yeah, everyone just, you know, casually just sitting here, whatever, just fent, crack, weed, fucking, you know, coke, meth, fucking fent, you know, everything, dude. Everything's being smoked out here, dude.
Definitely the most concentrated group of people of any city you and I have ever visited.
Wait, what's this? Out in town having a time of my life with a bunch of friends and all just at a frame doing hard drugs.
This is the meat of the video. They just walk around narrating their experience. They'll describe things that they're seeing that they don't actually film. He claims people are smoking fentanyl and crack everywhere, but neglects to like show that. And that's certainly not out of respect for the privacy of people he's filming, because
I mean, also, I mean, he is kind of like, you know, blurring out people's faces, but that doesn't really let us know if they're like smoking or anything or not.
He has no issue filming people without their knowledge or consent, as we will see, nor can I find anything in YouTube's terms of service that would prevent them from showing this type of drug use unless specifically shown to glorify or promote its sale. So either they're exaggerating, or they just didn't film any of the drug use that was happening everywhere just out of frame, trust me, bro. Because I guess they didn't want their documentary to look interesting. You know, they were focused on the airy part. The document part, that they could take or leave. You will also notice a sort of gleefully amazed tone. They talk about how intense all of this is, how scary, all while seeming weirdly pleased about it. Kevin walks by an office building and says this.
Yeah, we've only done one block. Been out here for 5 minutes. It's just complete chaos. There's offices right here. Can you imagine working here full time?
Kevin, you're a homeless services provider, or you.
I mean, and why is he just like chuckling like it's a joke? It's like, can you just imagine working in this office while this homeless man just sits there on the other side of the window?
You were before the criminal charges.
Like what?
This shouldn't shock you. It's telling that we're not invited to sympathize with any of the drug users or homeless people, but instead the people who have to work around them. Imagine working here and having to see this every day.
And hey, I have to work with, you know, homeless people every now and then. You know what? Are there like, you know, some, you know, behaviors that, you know, some homeless people will do that I don't like? Sure. And would I prefer if they did that elsewhere? You know, sure, but that doesn't mean I want them criminalized or literally kicked out or some shit. I just want them, it's like, if they're gonna do like meth or some shit, don't do it in my store bathroom. Like, we have plenty of like little hidey holes and bushes and little like, you know, alley corner things around here. Like, just go there. Like, don't do it in our bathrooms. You know what I mean? Like, it's just little things like that. Like, I don't care if, you know, they're doing that shit. Just don't do it there, you know? It's just it's little things like that, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna like go out of my way to be like, well, fuck you, time to get the cops on you, or like fucking, you know, like scurry you off and, you know, like, you know, and have all your shit like, you know, thrown out or whatever. It's like, you know, because fuck that. Like, I mean, just do that shit elsewhere. The coke in the bathroom, not meth. Well, sure, I guess.
Don't imagine living it, but just imagine having to see it. Gross! Disclaimer cards claim that this is all for educational purposes and presented in a truthful, non-exploitative way. And that's always a good sign when you have to specify in a disclaimer that your footage is presented truthfully. Then, shortly after explaining how all of this is true and real, trust me, bro, he then claims to have inhaled secondhand fentanyl, or maybe meth.
I think are just on this street right here.
How big is it? 100
people? Well, I appreciate you guys' time. I'm gonna move out of the way just a little bit. Hey, you think I inhaled meth just now?
That's what it smelled like.
I low-key think I inhaled some. Did I do meth just now?
Well,
I'm feeling a little lightheaded. I'm holding on to you for a reason.
Hold on to a reason. I'm gonna exaggerate this and play off this little like act that I'm doing. Dude, it's like, oh my god, he's doing what the police do with fentanyl, dude. It's like pocket fent. Pocket fence. You know, it's like a cop, you know, immediately just like, you know, just glances at fentanyl and the overdose and shit. It's like, I mean, that's basically, it's like what the fuck that was, dude. Oh my god. Oh man, wow, that's just, wow.
See any smoke? We didn't see the person who supposedly is smoking it, and tee-hee, look how funny it all is. Ha-ha, hee-hee. And this leads to, I think, the most incomprehensible sequence in the video, where Tyler walks into a random convenience store and claims that seeing bongs and lighters is evidence of local businesses profiting off of the drug crisis.
In hopes of escaping the fumes of meth I just inhaled, I walked into a nearby convenience store and noticed it was filled with pipes, bongs, torches, and every other tool a drug addict might need to fuel their drug addiction.
He gets kicked out of this.
Like, yeah, because it's probably a pipe store, you dumb fucking retard. Like, I mean, you know, and also a lot of different little corner stores and convenience stores like this, you know, also sometimes have these things. Like, there's a little corner store not that far away from me that does. That's where I got my bong I have right now. It was like a beautiful store. Yeah, this place looks cool. Oh my god, dude, look at this bong right there, dude. I just happened to eyeball that, dude. Fucking triple chamber perked. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. That is beautiful. That is a beautiful piece up there. You could just tell it's beautiful, dude. Dude, I would call that, like, the triple gauge, bro. Or some shit. I already would have a name for something like that. Oh my god, look at this little guy. Just got like a little ring. Oh, dude, that's cool. A little pineapple. I'm checking. Dude, Yo, is that a skull? I call it the shotty. Dude, the triple barrel shotgun, dude. Dude, I call it the triple barrel 8 gauge. That would yeet me one go. Dude, that would yeet me one go. Oh my god, dude, it looks beautiful. Dude, I mean, all these bongs look pretty fucking cool. I'm digging it. I'm digging them. I also noticed before I paused, they were asked to leave. I wonder why.
Or told he's not allowed to take pictures, but nonetheless records video anyway. A bit later, the store owner comes out and argues with him. He then claims to that man's face to have deleted all of the footage he took in the store, even though he obviously did.
And he's literally still recording.
Didn't we just saw that footage? You lied to his face.
Why are you selling torches?
I didn't pay for the taxi.
Okay, what's the problem?
I'm not saving the cash.
Yeah, we deleted everything. Just go walk away.
Which seems like something a journalist should not do, and does call into question your personal honesty. He then claims to have caught him selling pipes and torches.
Just because we caught him selling pipes and torches in his convenience store, capitalizing on the drug epidemic, guy.
Oh my god, you fucking parasite motherfucker, dude. Like, no. Like, it's a pipe shop. Like, no shit, that's what he does for business, aren't you fucking retards all about, like, free market capitalism, you sons of bitches? Aren't you fucking conservative pieces of fucking shit all about free market capitalism? A good businessman obviously knows how to make a quick buck and an opportunity. Like, I mean, so it's like, oh, as soon as it happens to be a part of it, you know, a market that you don't like, suddenly you want to call into question and, you know, fucking, you know, raise a moralistic hoopla over it. Go fuck off. Parasitical motherfucker. I dare this piece of shit to come back to Portland with this little fucking lackey fucktard.
I don't think a lot of hard drug users are going to be buying bongs shaped like Baby Yoda to smoke meth in the street, actually. I think those are for...
Wait, hold on.
I don't think a lot of hard drug users are going to be buying bongs shaped like Baby Yoda to smoke meth in the street.
Dude. Yo, that looks fucking awesome. I would just literally call that pipe the Hot Lips. I already have a name for that pipe. The Hot Lips, dude. This one, I would just call it the fucking, like, what should I call that? It'd have to be a unicorn, obviously. Meant to use this by Glass Rose, not Bongs. Glass Roses, not Bongs. Yeah. Yeah, and also, like, yeah, and I know, thought I was about to say here in a sec, but these are for, I don't know, weed. I mean, maybe tobacco. Oh my god, he's not wrong. There is a Baby Yoda pipe. Oh my god. Dude, he wasn't even joking. I thought he was being hyperbolic, but no, there's a Baby Yoda pipe. Oh my god. You know what? I probably would unironically buy that thing. I mean, honestly. Holy shit, he's not wrong. I thought he was memeing. I unironically thought he was memeing when he said people are buying, like, the Baby Yoda pipe, blah, blah, blah. Just because there's so many of them. I didn't think there was one in there. I thought he was just joking. Oh my god, there really is. That is awesome. I would totally buy it too, honestly. Dude, I would hella buy that thing. I mean, frankly, if I was one of those, like, you know, I don't know, like, fucking, the equivalent of, like, some wine snob and, like, you know, had, like, collector pieces or some shit, I would totally, like, honestly buy all of them. I'd like to buy, like, both these shelves entirely.
I think those are for... We.
I like that one. You know what? Dude? My boy Yoda looking fucking lit, dude. You know what? I think this is a good time to smoke some weed. I think these are for... I think things like this are for weed. Transition to Yoda just getting lit. Sadly, I can't. Well, hey, you know, when you get, you know, feeling a little better, you know, we'll ensure that, you know, we do so, and you can come back to this, and you can kind of do so posthumously. 9 outside. 9 degrees. Oh my god.
It's legal in Canada. No.
Oh wait, hold on. Wait. What? Oh, dude, my boy Yoda. Weed. Good it is.
Like the way that you pretended all drugs are legal in Canada, but like actually legal. This is just a thing in cities. Convenience stores sell bongs and stuff because they're also where people go to buy snacks and soda and junk food and shit. There is a natural demographic.
Yeah, because if, you know, you get a little too lit, you know, a little too stony, and you accidentally break a bong, and you were going to get munchies anyway, you know, that convenience store sells that, new bongs and stuff like that. I mean, you're going to get your munchies and a bong. Or if you just want a new piece just for, you know, a little variety or something. Haven't seen much of that around here. Oh, give it enough time, you'll find one or two.
Overlap between the people looking to buy talkies at 3 a.m. and people who want a fancy bong, Tyler. I actually don't think that's the result of drug decriminalization, because I can walk into most convenience stores in Toronto and find the same stuff, Tyler. You fucking square.
You fucking square.
What do you mean you caught him? This isn't some back alley deal. This is a big wall of bongs. You didn't catch anything. He's not doing anything illegal or secret. He's not even doing...
Yeah, it's literally just it's a straight up business.
Anything unusual. And god damn, dude, it's a little rich for you, of all people, to claim someone else is capitalizing on the drug crisis. What the fuck are you doing right now with your little clickbait video?
Most of my video...
Damn. I mean, true, though. Fuck. Damn, we kind of laid the hammer with that one. Oof. True.
Serious issues like these get completely demonetized, and we lose money making them. If you want to help us...
You know, and I guarantee you that's probably some bullshit. Like, he makes some fucking money off this, especially when he gets, like, you know, donations and Patreon support and stuff like that, I guarantee it. Like, yeah, this And plus, he has other platforms where he can make money off it, too. Like this little boohoo woes me. Oh, YouTube's demonetized some of my shit. Like, grow the fuck up. It's like when, Richard Dawkins was bitching about this, when, like, DFF was reacting to that video not that long ago on Onion Nuggets. Like, we were looking at that. Like, it's the same fucking shit. It's like, really, dude? Like, even though you are, like, on other platforms and other places where you certainly make, your fucking bucks, so it's not like you're losing much. Like, give me a fucking break, you little puss.
Keep making important documentaries like these and get extended, uncensored cuts. Go subscribe to my page.
See what I mean? Right there. Boom. Yeah, it's point proven.
On for as low as $5 a month.
I literally just noticed while editing this, of the videos he scrolls past, the only one to be completely demonetized, as he claims,
is the If Bush did 9/11. That's the only one. The other ones actually have partial demonetization with the yellow symbol on it. It's not green. So that means it's only partially restricted. That means he's still making money off of that. He's still making money off of those videos. He's not being completely demonetized. Oh my god, fuck these motherfuckers.
He's the one where he pretends that he's investigating whether or not Bush did 9/11, which I don't think qualifies as a serious issue.
So now it's time for some street interviews. He states that this guy initially supported harm reduction and decriminalization, phrasing which Tyler inserted into the conversation, not that man, which is something a journalist should not do. The man says it has not worked and has gone completely the wrong way, which is selectively cut to imply that decriminalization and harm reduction are themselves the wrong way. But in fact, the man goes on to say in a later clip that the problem is that they were not paired with support services like he thought they should have been, like he says has been shown to work in other places.
Shocker. Because normally, if you actually have like a very strong implementation of not just decriminalization, but, services that can actually get people off the street and alleviate, whatever drug addictions they may be suffering from, then, outcomes will be far better than just merely having it decriminalized and doing nothing about it.
Proper harm reduction has been shown in European places, Switzerland, that.
The whole argument is that they have institutions to rehabilitate these users and not just facilitate the drug use, right?
Too. That's one thing we've told in this regard.
Given that context, it actually doesn't seem like he changed his mind about these things when he saw the results. He was saying he disagreed with the implementation of the program because it didn't provide enough care. But Tyler selectively edits it to appear as though decriminalization has been such a disaster that even those who supported it now recognize the damage it's supposedly doing. Or take this clip.
I use, and I know a lot of people who use.
Yeah.
It's not really that dangerous if you're a user.
You don't think decriminalization helps drug users overdose more often or anything like that?
What kind of a fucking question is that, Doc?
What? Like, the data shows, I don't know if he's going to show it or not, but it literally shows that, like, it actually decreases overdoses and the rate of overdose. Like, what? What does that even fucking mean? Like, what? Huh?
Helps them overdose? And the man says no, by the way. He says that he doesn't think decriminalization would help drug users overdose.
I don't think decriminalization helps drug users overdose more often or anything like that.
I wouldn't think so. No.
You've seen people die out here?
I have, yes.
Yeah. Pretty common?
This is pretty common.
And it seems to me like this is a gotcha question. Oh, you say this.
You say no, but you keep inferring that it actually is a problem, so checkmate, you dumb fool.
Won't help drug users overdose, and yet you yourself routinely see people die out here. Putting aside the fact that people can die of many things other than drug overdose, what a profoundly shitty way to treat an interview subject. To stick your nose so bluntly into some of the most traumatic experiences of their lives, to, at best, gawk at them, and at worst, build a false narrative to contradict their lived experience because it conflicts with the picture you're trying to paint. Tyler then begins to talk about how Vancouver has also opened safe injection sites. He presents the arguments for them and then claims that Kevin snuck into one to see if they really lived up to what they were promising or if they were all just a haven for drug crime.
Little did I know, Kevin snuck into one last night, and here's how it looked.
We're going to do a smoke show. Smoke show time, baby.
I mean, this definitely is not exploitative whatsoever. I mean, the thing, and also I was still imagining it's like still a safe injection site, but yeah, it's probably going to look a little roughed up because, yeah, there's going to be people, well, doing drugs because that's what it's there for. Frankly, they probably need to be more staffed, to help, address some of those, other issues. But either way, like, what the fuck were you expecting, dumb fuck?
It didn't seem clean, safe, or supervised from the little that Kevin saw.
And that, admittedly, looks pretty bad. It's shocking. It does not look like a sterile medical environment.
I bet this place smell. Yeah, and honestly, for that particular, site, it probably, has a lot of other problems going on besides just being understaffed. There's probably a lot of, other issues going on there. Like, and that, frankly, is probably, fault of, that specific place. But to say that it's like a total fucking absolute is just insane and ridiculous. Fish out beer. I've been out for quite some time.
There don't appear to be medical professionals supervising. This is not how a safe injection site should look. And I've written here in my script, long pause for emphasis. Because as many Vancouver homeless and drug user advocates pointed out when this video was posted, this is not a safe injection site, it is a homeless shelter. You can see the fucking beds people are sleeping in. One thing you don't see is anywhere for people to inject drugs, safely or otherwise, which tends to happen a lot in safe injection sites. Here's what a safe injection site in Vancouver actually looks like, which I'm surprised you didn't know, Tyler, because you did use footage from this exact news report in this video to set up your false lying clip. So, one of two things is possible.
Shocker.
Well, here. Either he will...
Meth smells like burnt rubber. Yeah, I've smelled it before, and it's not a good smell. It smells gross.
He lied to his audience, or he was too lazy to double-check the footage Kevin gave him, which, given the sloppiness of the work I've seen from Kevin in the past, you really ought to do. Quality journalism here, folks. Now it's time for some more speed interviews, and see if you can catch the extremely subtle way...
That shutty thing, shocker, yep. It's like, here, let me cherry pick a bunch of information to fit my fucking agenda of demonizing homeless people and, like, exploiting them and dehumanizing them in literally every way possible to, just fit in my specific agenda. Yeah, because I'm such a morally upsetting person.
Tyler leads this question.
We saw a line waiting to go to the bank. Are they waiting for social welfare checks to buy more drugs or what?
He saw a line to get into the bank, which he didn't film, and
just random people that are probably just waiting to go to the bank. And, he wants to be like, oh, yeah, those are definitely people getting social welfare checks just so they can do drugs, and that's literally it.
This concludes, apropos of nothing, that people are waiting to get their social welfare checks. It's starting to feel like he's very subtly trying to inject a political message here.
Here, like this security guy, would he do anything if you guys... No. Can they do anything? No.
That's not what security cards don't... That isn't what security cards do.
I mean, it's just Vancouver security guards are powerless to drug crime. Well, because that's not their intention.
Then they talked to this guy, who appeared to be a drug dealer guarding an alley.
And then I found this guy guarding an alley entrance who appeared to be a drug dealer that agreed to an interview if we blurred his face.
I don't feel like drug dealers...
If I didn't know better, I would think this guy's a parody of Right Wing. I mean, I wish... I mean, he has, like, some grifty fucking, identity fraud peddling piece of fucking shit from Gresham, who's a social worker that, works for the Deschutes County fucking sheriffs, and, is going around in different places, like in Portland or Vancouver and shit like that, just dehumanizing and exploiting homeless people with this poverty porn bullshit, bent in a right-wing way. I mean, the guy's a fucking legit parasite piece of shit, dude.
Like to be filmed. Even if you were to agree to blur their face, generally, drug dealers, as a category of person, tend to be pretty camera shy, actually, which might go some of the way towards explaining why he appeared to be a drug dealer, rather than just saying, he was, because you can't prove that he was. Because he probably wasn't. I pause now to ask, does it seem like Tyler is genuinely adhering to the principle of innocent until proven guilty? They go to a needle exchange to do some interviews, where they're told now is not a good time because they're dealing with an overdose. So instead of leaving, they hang around and film this man in crisis without his consent and talk about how wild it all is, how crazy it is.
Meth overdose in real time right now. Ambulance probably coming for him. You look at Dana doing his thing.
This is complete chaos.
Yeah, that's an active overdose in real time right there.
We are completely surrounded by active users.
Yeah.
So firstly, yes, there tend to be a preponderance of drug users at needle exchanges.
No shit. Duh. Like, I mean, these people are literally just going to, like, some of the worst parts of Vancouver, potentially. Or at least, just some, more sketchy parts of Vancouver, which every city fucking has. And basically just equating, like, oh, yeah, this is literally everywhere around here, and it's just chaos, defecate, just tweakers and zombies in the streets, but... I'm shocked they haven't tried to film someone you're on stream. Well, I think, they probably were hoping that one dude kind of doing, I don't know what, there for a second in that last clip. I think they were hoping maybe he was going to, like, take a shit or something. Like, I don't know.
This is not unlike...
I'm not surprised.
I'd expect to be surrounded by hungry people.
Someone taking a piss on Trump Tower in Vancouver. Oh, that'd be great.
Olive Garden. I'm not sure if that represents a clear representative sample of the rest of the city. Secondly, no, you're clearly not surrounded by active users. You can see people walking by in the footage who do not appear to be on drugs, or indeed unusual in any way. You could just twirl the camera around, show us how surrounded you are. Is there a reason you don't want to do that? Is there a reason you're okay filming one guy having an overdose without doing anything to protect his privacy, but you're squeamish about showing us this dramatic image of how surrounded you are? Again, I must ask, do you simply not want your documentary to look exciting? Thirdly, and most importantly, fuck you, because the man you're filming, who, by the way, is a volunteer worker at the Overdose Prevention Society, actually helping other drug users in his community to reduce overdoses, the man you didn't bother to blur the face of as he was in active crisis, waiting for an ambulance.
If he caught Melty taking a piss on Scientology for his Portland video, that would be pretty great.
Give his consent to be filmed.
I was filmed without my consent, and it was posted online, used in a negative way, and it just feels horrible. They obviously caught me at my worst, and I wouldn't want that to happen to other people. There should be some type of, I know it's legal to film people out in public, but at the same time, there try to be some ethical boundaries there.
The other guy that they spoke to who said it wasn't a good time to talk shared similar sentiments.
It was a smear piece. I was really disappointed, and I felt kind of used.
I'm sure Tyler might argue that...
Guy is kind of a cool bro, I'm not even gonna lie. But, shocker, the people that tend to be, used, for right-wing, hit pieces of shit, when they realize that's what it is, are basically, or basically, tend to be seen as, used and being like, wow, they kind of, are taking this out of context and this and that and shit, and that's not how it, was framed and blah, blah, blah. Shocker. Not surprised. No Christmas Scientology, but Scientologists care about that. It's still fun. He doesn't discriminate. Yeah, he really doesn't. He's pissed on Catholic churches. I'm pretty sure just regular old churches, the Scientology church. I mean, if he could, he would probably do that on a Mormon church.
You're under no legal obligation to protect the privacy of people you record in public. And I'm not a lawyer, but I don't know if that's true. Seems like the jury's out, actually. But there is certainly an ethical obligation here. You didn't even hesitate for a fucking second before filming someone who did not only not consent to this, but also could not consent to it, and used it to present them as a sign of how dangerous the city had become. They just gawk at him as he's going through this horrible crisis and use it to paint people like him as dangerous. So I ask you, who do you think represents the bigger danger to this community? The guy who gives up his free time to specifically volunteer at the Overdose Prevention Society? Or the rubbernecking fake journalists spreading disinformation?
Definitely, the rubbernecking journalists, 100%. He tickles, a lot of my fancies about my specific, personal feed page, so, I basically just don't give a fuck, so I'm just gonna believe that instead of, doing research for myself, because I'm a goddamn choke fuck.
Is it Vancouver technically one of the safest cities in North America? I don't know, actually. I'm not too I want to know about that. I mean, just because I really honestly don't know.
Without his consent, is a long-standing community member who has saved countless lives from overdoses, as well as teaching others how to spot overdoses and reverse overdoses with naloxone. The fact that he was filmed at his worst and most vulnerable and posted for millions to see is unfortunate.
We're halfway through the video, by the way. And I just want to stop and ask, so far, would you characterize what you've seen as truthful and non-exploitative? So then, this scene plays out.
We walked off the block and into an alleyway. I noticed both ends were guarded by a drug dealer. You go through here or no? Yeah?
Yeah, they should worry about me. Anything?
We're good. To my surprise, we had just been offered drugs on camera.
He just assumes this random guy on a scooter is a drug dealer based on nothing. Whatever happens.
It's just like, yeah, anyone that happens to just be like, you know, standing around and stuff is just a drug dealer. So, you know, I'm just going to assume that's what it is. Anyone that just happens to be standing on the side of a sidewalk in the middle of the city and shit, yeah, drug dealer.
Innocent until proven guilty. He claims that this man is standing guard at an alleyway, which he clearly isn't because, for one, he just lets them through when they ask.
I know, yeah, dude's like, what the fuck? Like, it's a alleyway, just walk fucking through, you weirdo. I mean, yeah, dude, the guy is honestly more confused than anything else about what that dude is doing.
And also, this is not an alleyway, it's a bit of sidewalk that is covered because of construction. But I guess alleyways sound scarier than sidewalks, so they call it an alleyway. When they ask him if they can cross, he looks really confused, like, what? Why are you asking me?
I know! Dude, he really does look so confused, like, I don't know. Like, I'm just chilling, whatever.
When Tyler speculates they might be heading into danger, you can hear Kevin saying,
Yeah, they should worry about me. Anything?
It's like from a place that, like, yeah, is he like, yeah, I think he's, you know, from a place where loitering has just never been a thing.
Hey, man. What does that mean? What do you mean by that? Are you going to hurt people? Then Scooter Man says, you need anything, bro? Which they present as though this man has attempted to sell them drugs. And sure, maybe he could be doing that. That's possible. But also, equally possible, is he could be just like a confused and friendly person asking if they needed something. In fact, I'm inclined to believe that is the case because you had a camera and microphone pointed directly at him, so it kind of strains credulity that he would be offering you, a complete stranger who might be a cop, drugs in that circumstance. Whatever happened to innocent until proven guilty? He claims he walked past some active drug deals.
To my surprise, we had just been offered drugs on camera.
Yeah, we definitely just walked through some active drug deals.
I guess my main question about that is, what the fuck are you talking about? Because no, you didn't. You imagined some guy you saw was a drug dealer and freaked yourself out. If those two guys you walked past were engaged in some sort of drug deal, you didn't specify that or show any evidence of it.
As we walked away, we started getting...
You know what? Even if that was the case, mind your fucking business there, buddy. Who cares?
Dirty looks from those two dealers, but it was clear we could buy drugs on any corner of any block out here in East Hastings.
Is that clear? That didn't seem clear to me from the footage you showed. Where
that seemed very confusing, if anything.
Drawing that conclusion from? Because one guy who you...
is making himself look hella dumb. Because honestly, there are just a lot of fucking sensationalist style fucking terminally online conservative dumb fucking retards out there that legit feel this way, and he's, you know, like feeling and, you know, adding to the sensationalism basically. Like he's giving them like fodder for these people to gawk at, be like, oh yeah, it wouldn't be nice if like some vigilante death squads like, you know, me and my brothers out there, you know, we're just, you know, help clean up Vancouver, Portland, blah, blah. Like, you know, it's just fodder for them to fucking, you know, munch on. I mean, that's what this guy's there for. Like, that's what makes his bread and fucking butter, so that's what he's been doing. I mean, that's why I saw a parody. I wish it was.
Was a drug dealer based on nothing says, you need anything, bro? That is your basis for the claim that it is clear that one can buy drugs on any corner of it.
Wait, if you want to see some Canadian police abuse, wait, what? It's IMDb page. Reality of Royal Canadian Mounted Police Canadian series. This shows Canadian equal of cops. Oh my lord. Timberlake online conservative, so I never left strip mall land. Yeah, pretty much.
Street in the area. Do I have that right? Some real investigating going on there. We've now reached the part of the video that I like to call the Tim Pool Zone, where Tyler pretends that his investigation is getting too much attention, and now the criminal element is out to destroy him. Oh no, Tyler and Kevin are being followed.
We're definitely being followed right now.
They don't show you, but, you know, just take their word for it. Why would they lie?
Did you use fentanyl? And the more we talked to people out here, the dirtier the looks we got. Something felt off.
They're getting dirty looks. People off camera are pointing at them.
There's 3 men to your left pointing at us and talking to them, and they're slowly walking over, so just be aware of that. Something's up.
All right, let's go.
and they're not going to show you, but just trust them on that. Why would they lie?
Yeah, just, random, just like, innocuous little thing that, could just totally take it out of context, or maybe told the guy to say that, before recording. Yeah, let's just take their word for it, because, why would they lie? Trust us, bro.
They're gonna die right now. They're in a dangerous situation here in the middle of a busy Canadian street in the middle of the day.
He's got no back look. I'll try to walk down.
Yeah, everyone is eyeballing us.
We're gonna get mugged down here.
Yeah, they're looking at us right now.
I mean, because you're like, and there's like a trio of fucking dumb fucks and, annoying people on the street with a mic and a camera. Like, yeah, you're gonna get a lot of fucking looks, you dumbass.
Maybe the reason people are looking at you is because you're filming them. They're probably wondering what you're filming. They walk past someone who mumbles something, and it kind of sounds to them like, I'll fucking kill you. And they assume he was talking about them and trying to steal their camera for some reason.
I want to see two. Well, one of them's the cameraman.
I legitimately think they tried to take his camera.
Oh,
because
it sounds more to me like he's saying fucking video. The audio is very difficult to make out, but even if he is saying, I'll fucking kill you, I don't know if it's clear from the footage that he was speaking to anyone involved.
People tend to look at gaggle, especially when you're repeating the sidewalk. I mean, no shit.
A guy mumbling to himself, and it seems to me like what he mumbled was fucking video, because you're a bunch of poverty tourists filming a video. I could be wrong, but pointedly, the man did not try to kill you. So that seems to suggest he isn't the threat you're making him out to be. And you don't seem all that shaken up about it either, because just look at the delight on his face when he hears they have someone supposedly threatening them on video.
We walked by and he said, I'll kill you. What?
Not really the reaction
well, ain't that fun and awesome? We'll use that for content.
you might expect from someone who's just been threatened. But of course, the army of scooter-riding drunk...
I mean, because, realistically, you'd be like, oh shit, are you alright? Like, it's... Like, he ain't following you or not, right? Like, no, it's not having any concern at all. Let's just be like, oh, well, ain't that great? Ain't that for the memes?
Dealers wearing black masks are out to get them.
Honestly, I kind of hope maybe that does happen to him, unironically, in Minecraft and Grand Theft Auto 6. In Grand Theft Auto 6, I hope these fucks are used as like a little side mission where you can just fuck them up. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck it. It's like, I mean, instead of like, your little poverty tourists, like poverty porn bullshit, like in one of these motherfuckers is like, oh, hell no. And just like, what's some ass? I mean, I'd be okay with that. Yeah, I'd just be like, oh, some sad tears. Anyway, I wonder how the weather will be like today. Oh, it looks like the thaw will be coming in. Excellent.
This is, the drug dealers use scooters to get around here.
I noticed that they always use scooters and they always have a mask on it, usually a black.
It's people in urban areas get around in scooters. Like, what?
What the fuck are you talking about? Lots of people ride those fucking scooters. They're everywhere.
No shit! What the fuck are they doing?
Whatever happened to innocent until proven guilty? I wonder if there's another reason someone might wear a mask. I wonder if there's a different explanation there. Gee whiz, I wonder. Maybe because of the fucking plague we're in the middle of. Maybe because it's fucking cold, actually, based on Wednesday.
Or maybe people mind their privacy and don't want, like, cameras, identifying them or some shit. Granted, that might mean they're doing something scrupulous, but whatever. Mind your business. You didn't see anything.
Now happens in this video. It seems like it was filmed around late September, when it can get as low as 8 degrees Celsius or 46 degrees in loser points. So maybe it's cold, which is why everyone is wearing a jacket, including you yourself.
Probably that guy right here.
Yeah.
Because they always have the black masks on.
You turned around and you said that shit. Well, I'm convinced. You pointed at a guy and called him a drug dealer to his face.
Yeah, and also say they always have these black masks on and shit. It's like you're profiling people. Like, they're just straight up doing profiling, like, right in front of people's face. Like, of course they're gonna fucking look at you and be like, excuse me, bitch? I mean, be surprised they don't walk up to you and be like, what the fuck you trying to say about me or something. Like, I mean, seriously. Like,
until proven guilty, by the way, and he turned around? That's drug dealer behavior. There's no other reason to look at someone when they point at you and speculate that you're a drug dealer for no reason. He was probably, at that moment, summoning some scooter men to assassinate you. I cannot stress enough how much of this video is just these two guys walking around pointing at things and pretending something sinister is happening. walking up to people who are sleeping and bothering them and pretending like they're just concerned, but of course felt the need to film it without their knowledge or consent, of course.
Guy's wrapped in a trash can right here. I mean, this scene is...
I mean, you can't, how do you breathe? Do we even know he's alive?
Yeah, do you want to check in on him? He might need some Narcan or something, I mean...
I was worried about you. You're in a trash bag. Okay, just check on you, brother. You doing okay? All right, you take care, brother.
You take care, bro. Yeah, it's all they got. This perseveres porn shit. I mean, it's not too uncommon if you see someone who's homeless to be, like, sleeping and using whatever they can have, you know, for warmth, you know, to insulate themselves. I mean, it's not really exactly uncommon. Like, I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, it's like, what the fuck? Like, over some bullshit, like, you know, oh, well, you know, we see someone who looks like they're probably not even alive in there, even though they're obviously sleeping and trying to stay warm as much as they can. I mean, it's like, what the fuck? I mean, these pieces of fucking shit. You know what? This is the reason why I kind of thought it looked a little familiar. Because, I mean, like, this was a YouTube short that they made. Like, they actually made this as a YouTube short. Because I remember seeing this at one point as a short. With a bunch of people being like, oh my god, look how fucking insane Vancouver looked. But just like, you know, fucking a bunch of bullshit there too. So it's like, you know, that's why it kind of, you know, looked a little familiar to me. I mean, but, I mean, at least, you know, with this specific scene. I don't remember seeing anything else from it, but I remember this.
Okay? Just want to check on you. You okay, brother?
Kevin's going to make sure they are alive.
Are you okay, brother? Okay. He said yes.
Walking by a lineup and assuming out of nowhere they're once again looking to pick up welfare checks.
Seemingly endless line of drug addicts still waiting to get government money from the bank to go buy drugs with.
Walking by someone sleeping and assuming, for no reason, that they're dead.
People appeared lifeless on the corner of every street, and it was impossible to tell if they were just high or dead.
Kind of seems like you have a lot of problems with that distinction in general.
They see another woman ODing, and of course, film that too. And then there are people there helping her, and Kevin just claims that they're robbing her.
Well, it looks like she was overdosing, and as she's overdosing, they're robbing her.
They're robbing her?
Yes. Yeah, they're picking her pockets. That's crazy.
Which does not seem true.
Which isn't. Like, I mean, like, that's actually another fucking thing that I remember seeing as a YouTube short. Like, and no, she wasn't getting fucking robbed. They just, like, took a few couple clips, you know, probably trying to take, you know, some of her things off of her just to, like, you know, make sure that, you know, she doesn't get, like, you know, weighted down, you know, by it or anything, you know, just to make sure they can have as much access to help get her Narcan, whatever the fuck. I don't know, it doesn't matter. But it's like, they definitely weren't fucking mugging her or something.
They were. Why didn't you do something to help? Kevin, I thought they had to be afraid of you, tough guy. Whatever happened to that? Then they filmed this guy take something out of someone's bag and throwing it away angrily.
People were literally robbing each other in broad daylight out here.
And then that person yells, which, to me, suggests that they know one another, and it wasn't so much a random robbery as they frame it here, but like, two people in conflict, innocent until proven guilty. Anyway, they get into a Zoom call with a member of the Legislative Assembly, which you can think of as vaguely analogous to a Canadian state senator, Eleanor Sturco from the BC United Party, a centre-right conservative party, which perhaps confusingly was formerly known as the BC Liberals, but they meant it in the European economically liberal way, not in the Liberal Party way. She wants to undo decriminalization.
I'm not surprised that they found some conservative piece of shit to fucking, you know, justify more of this bullshit.
She claims failed because the city, once again, has not paired it with sufficient support services.
What was the objective in decriminalizing those drugs?
That their idea was that this would reduce stigma. They cite other countries in the world that have had some success with decriminalization.
Could these guys not find like a cafe or something like that, you know, to do this Zoom call in? Why are they literally in the middle of the sidewalk? Like, what, why? Like, what? What the fuck? Why are they in the middle of the fucking sidewalk, dude? Was she BCMTG? Like, how else did she get the interview? I don't know. I mean, maybe.
Portugal, Uruguay, Germany, but there's a huge difference between what they're doing and what's being done here. Fortunately, the government is only telling half the story and they've only put half the work in because those other jurisdictions actually have involuntary care. Where the hell are they moving these people on to? It's just not fair for the public and it's not fair for people that have addictions. We need to provide them the services they need and make sure that they get the support they can to get well.
What's
crime infested? Well, based on what she said there, no, actually. I mean, maybe she isn't like a full-on, like,
far right, lady. I mean, from what she just said there, it sounded like she actually is an advocate of expanding those services to kind of put the final steps in place that were meant to be implemented at like a lot of other places in Europe do. So, I mean, if anything, it sounds like she's actually kind of like, more in agreement of expanding these things, and expanding these other services. So, at least that's how I read that.
The solution for all this
to make sure that actually police, for example, were given back their full discretion. We would decriminalization. It's like trying to bake the same pie as somebody else, but you don't use the same ingredients. Not going to turn out the same.
That's okay. So
she said she wants to. I just heard that. I'm just like, interesting. Well, that's just not shocking. Well, I mean, I guess Canadian conservative fucks are a lot more soft-spoken, like Democrats, tend to be around here.
Decriminalization worked in other places because it was paired with these support and rehabilitation services. So what you want to do is recriminalize the drugs instead of providing those services. And I guess why? Like, if by your own admission, decriminalization and more support services work, why not do that then? What?
Yeah, I mean, seriously. I mean, she literally said that, and then it's like, not even a second later, she's like, actually, we need to kind of recriminalize, though. Maybe she's instantly different. Well, yeah, because she is a part of more of a center-right-leaning party, from what it sounds like. So, yeah, maybe she's like almost like kind of Joe Manchin-ish or something like that, you know what I mean? Like a Manchin cinema. So like a Manchin cinema, type, almost like, I don't know. I don't really know too much about her besides just the clip we saw. So I don't know too much about her politics beyond what we just heard.
You do the thing you think works instead of going back to a plan we know demonstrably does
Canadian
not.
Joe Biden? Honestly, yeah. Female Canadian Joe Biden. That works, dude.
Of how utterly inane her talking points are, this interview looks pretty bad for Sturko. Given all of the controversies I've brought up, you'd think no politician would want to be seen working with this dickhole. And indeed, Sturko did not want to be seen working with this dickhole. She went on to claim that she didn't realize she was being recorded and did not give Oliveira permission to use her interview footage. And I gotta take Tyler's side on this one, because I find that a little hard to believe. You're clearly on a Zoom call, and when you're recorded in a Zoom call, a big notification comes up and tells you. So, seems pretty unlikely you'd miss that. Seems pretty unlikely that you'd agree to talk to a YouTuber without, asking, hey, are you going to put this in your video? Tyler responded, calling her a spineless politician rather than defending himself, which, seems to imply that at the very least, he can't prove he did tell her that she'd be recorded.
So, honestly, maybe Rip might be right. Maybe she is kind of like, honestly, I don't think it's because she's in a swing district. I think it's because she's just spineless. Yeah, so I think Venom might be more right. Just a female Canadian Joe Biden who's just spineless as fuck. What a shit show. I know, dude. Oh my god. This whole video has been quite an adventure, to be honest. I didn't realize there would be so many random little rabbit holes we'd be delving into of some of these fucking random motherfuckers, dude. I thought it was just going to be about, just the video itself, which it is, but, oh man, dude. The rabbit holes of rabbit holes have been made. But not in a recent Chud Boy says. Yeah, basically.
Here's a thought, my guy. If you're an investigative journalist, maybe
Give me my Vania Hassani. What? Wait, what? Huh?
We'll sign some fucking release forms. Unless, for some reason, you feel that would compromise your production methods. The video ends with a plug for Kevin's YouTube channel and his website, where he solicits donations, and then instructions for a $500 giveaway if you post a clip from this video and tag him in it.
Also, whoever has the most viewed TikTok or YouTube short using a clip from this video, I'll send you $500. Post however many times you want, but you must tag my TikTok /
So basically, he's like, dude, he's doing the Andrew Tate method of hey, you could earn money. Dude, he's doing a Ponzi scheme too, dude. Fuck this motherfucker. He's literally also doing a Ponzi scheme where he's like, oh, hey, if you do basically, be a bot that spams my bullshit and they get a bunch of views, then you get money out of it. Oh my god.
And put YouTube Tyler Oliveira in the title / description. Last week's winner was this guy. Go study him. Good luck, guys.
Guarantee you to do Simpson for Tate. Dude, I bet you he does.
A lot of the winners seem to be bot accounts who exclusively post clips of Tyler's videos, which you really should not incentivize. Like, that's absolute scumbag shit. Like, it's not illegal. Not against any policies, just, dog shit, awful way to promote yourself. Oh my God. Before
no shit.
Video, I saw in Tyler's description a link to a Google Drive that he called the unedited footage. And I thought, oh, great. I can look over the raw footage and see what he left out. Check his work. What a surprisingly transparent gesture. What a surprising show of integrity, I thought to myself out loud. And turned out...
And, yeah, of course, that wasn't going to be the case, wasn't it?
What he meant by the unedited footage was the edited footage, the exact video he had uploaded, just without music. Full disclosure, I suppose I could have gotten access to a longer version of this video that perhaps contained some exculpatory evidence for some of the criticisms I've made here, but in order to do that, I'd need to pay him $5 on Patreon, and I would rather peel off my own skin than do that. Because I have 24 pages about how manipulative, shady, and outright full of shit this one 14-minute video is. That's just cataloging all of the shitty practices, scandals, misrepresentations, and lies in one video. While writing this, I got a YouTube short served to me that contained this line.
What's the biggest problem out here in New Orleans? This is New Orleans.
Oh my God, you know what? I remember I remember this fucking short too. Dude, I've seen this YouTube short as well. Dude, this motherfucker's honestly, playing my shorts for a bit.
They don't give a fuck. They want everything for free because their great-great-grandfather was a slave.
Do you think people would agree with you?
Yes.
What can you do about it?
Yeah, because, I'm a racist white piece of fucking shit. Shout right going, yo, boy, they would. Dang, bud.
Tap here to see what he said.
I'm terrified to look at that video because I don't know how much time I'm going to lose. He makes these once a week. Every single week. He has 5 million subscribers, and his videos get millions of views. And that's before the legions of spam bots parodying his misinformation that he is incentivized are even factored into the equation. God only knows how many impressionable people have watched his bullshit and bought it wholesale. The comments are full to the brim of people who have. People who praise him for his journalistic integrity, his bravery for walking around on a sunny afternoon. A lot of these people express some pretty troubling views about homeless people and drug users, views that Tyler directly enforces and enables. Also, here's a huge bummer. There's a legitimate story here that with just the most bare-bones effort, he could have covered fairly. There is a drug crisis in British Columbia, and it is taking people's lives in record numbers. That type of
in America too.
Situation calls for clear-headed analysis, because the stakes, which are measured in human lives, are too high to be this cavalier about the truth. But he can't be bothered to check basic facts. He can't be bothered to title his video properly. And he feels entitled to not only stick his nose into a problem he hasn't done the slightest bit of due diligence to understand, but also to profit off of doing so. And
just push basically nothing more than sensationalist far-right conservative propaganda about what really is going on in these different areas. Because it incentivizes, a lot of the fucking content to be spread. And thus, make him a lot of fucking money and give it a nice little soft gesture to his fans and be like, oh, you might get some money if you fucking push my shit out there. Which, honestly, I would not be surprised if it does not happen. I wouldn't be surprised if that really isn't the case. I mean, because, shorts, tend to be a better algorithm to push yourself with and shit, but, if it's just, the same type of shit that, another account that's way bigger already has, his channel, it likely ain't gonna go out there and be pushed out. And also, a lot of people will notice that and be like, oh, it's just a bot account, report it, you're just stealing content and shit like that. So it's something that already happens, as a backlash anyway. So it's not something that really works.
Clearly where his motivation is. That's clearly why he made all of the choices he made. The more sensationalized the story, the more outrageous the title, the more wild and crazy he can pretend the situation is, the more clicks he's going to get, the more retention he's going to keep, the more the money rolls in. He'll claim that he's showing people the realities of drug use, but, if he's intending to show people reality, why did he lie so many times in the video? And if he's intentionally sensationalizing them because he thinks that the ends justify the means. One of the worst examples of a public health communication in history was people trying this exact strategy and failing miserably. Sometimes he'll pay people.
And luckily, funny enough, Dare nowadays is actually a different organization than it was in the past. They take a lot more of an emphasis on addressing mental health and focusing on that more so than, trying to be like, some anti-drug org now at this point. So they've had, so they've kind of, gotten better about things lately.
Talk to some pittance, like $5 or something, to be interviewed. And how many of them, do you think, have any idea that they're about to be seen by millions of people? How many do you think he followed up with to ask how they felt about the way he edited and presented their statements? And how many of them, do you think, even know they're being filmed for a YouTube video in the first place? I don't have a problem with people making
I won't be surprised if most of them don't even know that.
About these subjects. I don't have a problem with people making money from videos about these subjects, but the way Tyler does so is deeply, fundamentally irresponsible. He calls himself an investigative journalist, but he's nothing of the sort. He is a profiteer of human misery, a poverty tourist, a parasite, who feeds off the attention he can wring out of people while they're in the throes of the worst moments of their lives. He is directly, measurably, making the world a worse place, a more ignorant place, a more cruel place. And I don't know what to do about it.
Well, there are things that could be done, but they're not probably.
Because he's not alone. You can find dozens of videos of people making this kind of hateful content. It's easy, as long as you're willing to lie. It's profitable. And the people being hurt have no resources to fight back if you miss.
Because it basically takes, like, just being a soulless, grifter, parasite piece of shit, basically to do something like that.
Present them. There's a growing cottage industry of frauds and hacks cobbling together dishonest videos to demonize the most vulnerable people in our communities. Truth be told, I took a deep dive on this video because I thought the title was funny. I didn't expect to find as much as I did, but I could have done the same for hundreds of others. Even the way he is shitty is thoroughly unremarkable. If you made it all the way to the...
And that's, it really is kind of fucking unremarkable in my opinion. It even got myself goaded up a little bit, not even gonna lie. Go to bed, nice time sleep. Not really tired. I will admit, I'm not hungry quite yet. Still got some pizzas over here. So, I think I'll probably at least, have a little wind down moment here. Maybe give me Zukov a little bath and stuff, and freshen up and shit. Then, reheat my pizzas and go to bed. But, I must say, honestly, like I said, it's been a fat minute since I've seen some Thought Slime. Whatever, say what you want about him, I guess. But that was a good video. I like it. I like that video. It's a good video, I tell you what now. Just especially considering, just the absurdity of, the shit show that, some of the back and forth of that politician and, the fucking dorkbag piece of shit, from Gresham. Oh, my lord. Man, you gotta love these grifty-ass motherfuckers, man. These grifty pieces of fucking shit that, just, somehow, have such weird octopus tendrils that just, connect to each other and just, have this, weird access and shit. It's just fucking, ugh. Ugh. It's gross. Fucking gross, I say. It's fucking gross, I say. That might... Do I have to make you a booty juice cocktail? I already make that on fucking nightly basis. You're a little late to that charade, sir. The Pete booty juice cocktail, like I said, every fucking night. I'm missing the unicorn sprinkles to make a Pete booty juice cocktail, so I'm just gonna have to make a regular booty juice cocktail. But nonetheless, I do make them on the nightly. I didn't know you swallowed. Oh, well. What the fuck do you... What do you think I am, a fucking pussy? Gotta get your fucking daily protein. Kinda. Only when you get me sassy. Only when that happens. You know what? Here. Why don't we wrap it up with a little YouTube short? Because why not? Try your work when it snows out. Oh shit. It's gonna get 5 on diesel. Let's see.
Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good. How about you?
Never better.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Must be nice to be sitting in this heated gas station while I'm outside working, making sure I keep the electric on for you.
Honestly, yeah. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I bet you do. I bet you do.
What can I get you?
How do you go to sleep at night knowing you can sit inside all day for a living? I'm outside, negative 10 degrees, snowing all day.
I go to sleep pretty easy. Maybe about half a 12-pack or something. You know what I mean?
Unbelievable.
Anyways, what do you like?
5 on the diesel.
5 on diesel.
Roll Grizzly.
Roll Grizzly.
$20 scratch.
5 on diesel, Roll Grizzlies, $20 scratch. Unbelievable. How do you sleep at night? How do you sleep at night, boy? Dude, I love it. At least there are YouTube shorts out there that are actually funny and amusing and good. Gonna be 60. Yep, the Great Thaw tomorrow, bro. Great Thaw, yeah. But anyway, I'm at least gonna do my rest of my little lovely nightly activities. So anyway, I'll just call it good for now, and be back around for that next one tomorrow, wherever the fuck that might be. So, be sure and see you all in that.